Welcome back to another episode of the Family Album. I'm your host, Eddie Tenari.
And I'm Matt Glass.
Last week, Matt and I took a look at
The Transformed Man by Will Shatner and Angelic to the Core by Corey Feldman.
Sorry, two albums so bad that I tried to watch them from my memory.
Dude, couldn't fucking agree with you more.
But this week, for our last guest episode, possibly ever, we are honoring our time-honored tradition of bringing on two faces that are beloved by the podcast, the two that started it all. Please welcome back Ben Mascioli and Evan Vandenbrul.
Hey there.
Otherwise known as Album Tonight, the show that inspired this podcast.
I forgot. That's what it is.
Well, welcome back to the show, gang.
Thanks. Remember when we did that?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
That was a really long time ago.
It was a long time, but we're glad to still have you around in our corner.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys back.
Oh, glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Say glad to be here, Evan.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank you, Evan. But since you're so glad to be here, that also means you're glad to bring on a theme for this week's episode. So what do we got here for both of our albums?
Well, we decided because it is the last guest episode that you potentially are ever doing, we thought we would bring it back to our roots for when we started the podcast, and our theme was Album Tonight.
Hell yeah.
That was
You're looking at me like I was gonna...
like I'm waiting for you to step in.
Well, yeah, you started the sentence. I'm not just gonna like...
Guys, audience at home, just want to let you know, this banter between Ben and Evan is pretty much how their guest episodes go, so expect a lot of that as we move forward.
Yes.
Like, it looked like that we had something pre-planned and that... Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. You guys have so much chemistry. You can finish each other's
albums.
Exactly.
Well, I hope so. I mean, that's how we...
Speaking of albums...
Yeah.
So yes, the theme is Album Tonight, which basically just means for your final guest episode with us, we decided to pull the albums from the first episode we ever did 5.5 years ago.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
It is wild. It's really weird thinking back on the days when we would record, listen, record again,
stop
listen
recording.
again, stop recording, listen again, and then decide, hey, we got a couple more hours to kill before we go to sleep.
Let's edit this thing.
Let's edit and put this out in one night.
Yeah, well, if you remember 5.5 years ago, there was like a thing happening where we had to be inside.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That
What was
really
it?
bad snowstorm.
Yeah,
that
Toys R Us was
happened.
closing.
yeah.
It was a tragedy.
Oh, yeah. Well,
That's
they're opening
right.
some back up, you know.
Exactly. They're
getting
bouncing back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeffrey's coming back. Joffrey?
No, Jeffrey is not coming back. He's dead. I hope not. Jeffrey's not coming back.
Yeah, Jeffrey the giraffe. The Toys R Us mascot.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The Toys R Us mascot.
Of course. I'm sorry. So yeah, we brought on two albums, and the two albums are from the first episode, and the albums we picked are
Violent Femmes, self-titled.
and White Pony by the Deftones.
Yeah, two very interesting albums in terms of like themes, which can relate to each other in some ways, which I find very interesting, even though they're both very sonically different.
Yeah, I think if things were different and you brought on Around the Fur and Violent Femmes are talking about the same thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're similar in a sense, but
Not
so
quite.
different.
Yeah.
Like lyrically or like thematically, there are certainly parallels, but
The lead singer on...
Sound.
yeah,
Yeah.
sound. Whoa.
Oh, yeah. But the lead singer on both albums is going through the same things,
Yeah.
let's
Much,
just say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Angry in other word that ends in E.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to check out Album Tonight's first episode, we'll link it in the description below. They got 3 episodes up on YouTube and SoundCloud.
Fun fact, I, in honor of this episode, decided to listen to that episode for the first time in 5
Oh,
years.
shit.
And let me tell you, it took me 5 searches on YouTube to find it, because I could not find it with every combination of words I could
see.
find. So if you find it, good luck.
Don't worry, I have that link saved for every episode you've been on.
But yeah, so I will be referencing that episode too, in case, more so for you, because I think, AJ, you've listened to it. And I talked to
have,
Matt
yeah.
before. You have not. But I'll bring up a lot of similar points. I mean, it's cool how many parallels there are.
Well, I guess we'll see those pop up as we go on. But who would like to go first? Shall we do this Album Tonight style?
Well, we got to roll a 6-sided die, don't we?
course we do.
Except...
I didn't grab that one. So this is 20, but I mean, it still works out the same way.
yeah,
there will
odd.
be even and odd
Starts
numbers.
with a 1, ends in an even number, so it's fine.
Yeah, it's all
Exactly.
good.
And for those who don't know, even means Evan goes first, odd means Ben goes first.
And there we go. We got an even number of 10.
All right.
So that means we're starting with Violent Femmes.
Okay,
Right.
Evan, would you like to take us away with a little bit of history?
Sure. Yeah. So Violent Femmes on this first album consist of Victor DiLorenzo, Gordon Gano, and Brian Ritchie, with DiLorenzo on mostly drums, but also backing vocals. Gano on acoustic and electric, also the violin on Good Feeling, and then Brian Ritchie doing some more guitar work, the xylophone on Gone Daddy Gone.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And some backing vocals. So most of the vocals you're going to hear on this album are from Gano. You know, did I mention that on the first episode?
I don't think you did, but after a bit of research, I think it is Gano.
Is it two N's? Or is it
it's one.
One N, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which could be Gano.
I guess Paul of the Week. Is it Gano or Gano?
Gano, yeah.
Chino.
Wrong album. We'll get there.
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll get there. Yeah, so they started out in the punk scene, and like other bands like Television, Suicide, Meat Puppets, the punks did not like them because they were not playing straight up punk.
Yeah.
But they were found busking by one of the members of the Pretenders, and then the Pretenders, Chrissy Hind, got them some exposure, which got them into the recording booth for this album. The interesting thing, and I think I'll talk about this a lot as we're going through it, is that this is an album that doesn't really sound like it was released in 83. It kind of sounds like its own thing, but it makes sense that this didn't chart on Billboard until 1991.
Gotcha.
So there was, quick math, 8 years between
recognition.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense if you've heard this, if you know the style of it, and especially if you know how other college rock going into that kind of turning into what we now call alternative, what that sound evolved into once you hit the early 90s. This sounds far more at home there than it does in 1983. The other thing I wanted to mention, which I was just doing a quick pass through because the weird thing with this band is that this is easily the most known album, and a lot of their most known materials from this. So it is kind of surprising if you look at the Wikipedia. There is a long history on here. In 2007, Gano angered Ritchie by selling advertising rights to the first track, Blister in the Sun, to Wendy's.
Yes, I read up about that.
Yeah.
I did too, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Which that doesn't surprise me. I mean,
why would you want to advertise food with that song?
I don't know.
With
it's
a blister in the title.
well, you know, it's good vibes, I guess.
How does this
When I'm
burger...
chomping on a burger, just think about a good old blister,
Blisters,
you know?
bloody,
Oh, my favorite.
Yummy.
patches of pockets of blood, you know?
I must say, the only other thing I read up on this album that, just as a musician myself, that I found interesting was they actually recorded this full album right before they got signed. So when they got signed, the record label didn't make them re-record. They just handed the record label the album that they had already recorded.
Gotcha.
Which they had cited as a relief because it gave them the freedom to write what they wanted without any pressures. Which
That's
is
nice.
funny
Enough
will be similar to the other album we talk about too.
Okay.
With one big exception.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll get to that first track.
Exactly.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get there.
But anything else about Violent Femmes?
No, I think we should just get started.
All right, then let's hop right into the first track, the Big Kahuna. We got Blister in the Sun. My favorite Wendy's commercial backing track, I guess.
That must be like potentially where I've heard it. I mean, I don't know like when that commercial was circulating on the air, but like I was surprised that I knew this song.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how
It's
I
pretty
was
popular.
5 years ago because Evan tried convincing me, you've heard the first song on this album. I was like, I don't think I have. He played it and I looked at him and go, oh, okay, yeah, I know the song.
It's very iconic. It's
Yes.
been around like the classic rock scene, at least for a while.
Yeah, I think my introduction was that I got this compilation CD from Target that was like 80s new wave stuff, and it was a lot of early alternative new wave, a bit of post-punk on there. And when you hear this song in terms of what else was being played at the time, it doesn't really sound like anything else. And I think I've listened to enough at this point to like nail down what the sound of this album is a bit more. But even still, like 83 and the 80s in general, the 80s have such this distinct sound to a lot of the popular records that, I mean, you get into college rock and I could name like Meat Puppets Up the Sun or like a lot of REM stuff, maybe even 10,000 Maniacs. Like there's stuff that doesn't sound like they're hammering on the synths or using all this stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of albums from the 80s still sound like they're
Very polished.
from the 80s. Like this, Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska, which was a year before Arthur Russell's World of Echo. It gets weirder in metal and punk because I was thinking like Black Flag doesn't have synths, but if you played me that, I'm
You
like,
would think, oh, that's from the 80s.
exactly. Yeah.
You think that's punk from the 80s. So I don't know. Yeah.
But I guess things about this track, though. What do we think? What do we like? What do we dislike?
I mean, one of the most notable things that stood out to me 5 years ago and still stands out to me today is the bass is significantly louder in every song.
Yeah.
So it was just an interesting mix choice on that. And I don't know how they recorded it. But it's funny because it's like nearly just as loud as the vocals, with all the other instruments still being heard, but not as prominent, which is an interesting choice, but I found myself liking
I agree.
throughout the album. It just gave it an interesting
kind of like style.
Yeah. Because like throughout the rest of these tracks, I can pinpoint certain like, oh, I bet you this person listened to this album and was influenced, or like, oh, I bet you this band was really influenced. And a lot of that has to do with the bass, funny enough. So, and just from the rip, you kind of figure out like this is not going to sound like we were talking. It's not going to sound like the album that you would think it would sound like.
It's very raw, very stripped back.
Raw and stripped back are two very good words for this album.
It almost sounds like the guitar isn't being played with a low E string.
And
I really don't know that. Like, it kind of sounds like everyone has at least one string broken or missing from...
Honestly,
it sounds very jangly.
Including the snare. The snare
Very
sounds like
loose.
they just shook it and then put it back on the stand. It was like, whatever this sounds like.
There's like a purposeful kind of like uncleanliness or just kind of like an air of not caring about like how they're playing.
And I almost don't even think that was on purpose.
Yeah, that's
like,
just kind of
I just think it's because like they weren't signed. Maybe they just didn't know better.
Because like they were like
know?
fresh out of high school or something when they did
I
this,
want to
right?
say they were like 18.
Yeah.
Which, when I was younger, I don't think I noticed as much in the lyrics. As funny as that is to say. And now I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll get there. I think one thing that I really enjoy about just the overall album is just how unique the drum setup is, because it's mostly just snare drum.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool.
That
Which is
really
a very
surprised me
bluegrassy
overall.
approach.
It kind of gives like an air of that sort of like washboard-esque kind of music, you know what I mean?
Classic folk.
They were really big Mungo Jerry fans. That was their big thing.
Their big identity.
In the summertime was like their biggest influence.
Yeah.
They went on every radio
hear
show
that
at
every
the time.
track, man.
Yeah.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah, especially that part in the song where the car drives. Spits over.
It is funny how big this song ended up getting, because this wasn't even a single on the album. I think there was only one from the research
and it
I did.
surprised me. I gotta be real with that one.
Yeah, so
It's like
it is
later
funny
down the
with how
line.
big this song ended up getting.
Yeah. Once we get to that song, I get the reasoning behind it, and I think it's because of what it reminded me of. But we'll get there once we get to the track that was a single.
Yeah.
A couple of things about this track. I think it is a really good opener. Again, surprised that I knew the song already. I like just the simile that they use in the lyrics about just like let me go out like a blister in the sun. I feel like it's just very impactful. It's an earworm for sure. Holy shit. And this is something you literally said verbatim. I like the way that like the drums really differentiate the verses and the choruses. And that can kind of go like with all of the tracks. I feel
100%.
like they just add such like a liveliness and character. I feel like that really like
Just keeps everything moving.
and sets the structure well within like each part of the song. Also, I really just like the way his voice sounds on this track
It's
in
perfect
particular.
for this album. Yeah, and like what like the themes are that are being like discussed.
It's like his voice is like skeevy, but it has like gusto at the same time.
It is unique, but also there's like a punk voice that was kind of still
So
in
I was-
fashion at the time.
Yeah, so I was about to add in there too that I'm kind of in the different boat. To me, this voice, it's not that it's not unique, it's just it doesn't stand out to me as it being like different. Because if you throw this voice in a proper punk band, it fits very well for the time.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you almost have this singer, if you picture him from just a classic punk rock band and you threw him in a bluegrass folk group, that's what it sounds like to me personally.
I feel like the folk thing is kind of weird. Like on the Wikipedia page, it's like folk punk, and I'm like, folk punk is a very different thing now with like a sort of ethos that I don't think this album fits in, because I feel like a lot of folk punk now isn't, frankly, is horny. Like, I don't really know.
Point.
But but yeah, it's not jazzy. They just happen to be using two instruments that are used more in jazz. I mean, we'll get to like there's some of the slower tracks that you could argue
They're like more bluesy than anything.
Especially with like the brushes on the drums.
it's
specifically on
but
the
it's
snare.
the swing. It's not like chord
Yeah,
progressions.
it's not like
or,
the core crux of like what makes this album like sound like that.
Right.
You're not doing
Yeah.
giant steps.
No.
If anything.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, you actually hear the lick and kiss off if you listen really closely.
Is there anything else we want to say about track 1?
Yeah, what are these lyrics? Like
When I go out, I shrub my stuff.
then I'm so strong. Like this album ranges between being more opaque, which I think this is, and then sometimes it's just very direct.
Oh yeah.
And I don't-
yeah.
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 Well, and I don't really know if it's a matter of them just writing words down and going, yeah, that's it. Or like if all of it had the same
Like
level
angst.
of meaning to
Yeah.
it. I don't really know. I think the fact that this has shown up so many places, including Wendy's.
Yeah.
Like, it's not quite Born in the USA where it's like you're getting the wrong message. It's just sort of weird.
Yeah, some
like when
dissonance.
like when I was waiting tables and Closer by Nine Inch Nails was just playing like that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I get that.
That's a good comparison.
You start levitating like in the music video. Where's the monkey, Evan?
Here are your
about to
jalapeno
say.
poppers. I wanna fuck you.
there were a lot of families in the restaurant. I turned to someone. I was just like, I don't think this is okay.
Appropriate.
Yeah. But with that, I think we can move on to track 2.
All right. I like track 2 quite a bit. Kiss Off is pretty sick. And I think what I really like about this track is it really kind of encapsulates like the vibe of local music. That's kind of something that stood out to me was just I think the raw production, just how the song progresses and how it sounds. It just kind of like really like gave me that charm of like being in like the local music scene. So that was like my big takeaway.
I could see that. One of the things I really liked was just sort of this one felt more like punk in terms of like the song structure, specifically like on the harmonies. I'm like, do it all the time.
Yeah.
Like that shit like really
Yeah.
resonated with me in like a Clash kind of way, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
The bass entrance had me geeking in this one when it just comes in out of nowhere and just goes. I was cracking the fuck up because I forgot that it did that, and I just was like, "Oh right, I forgot."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
that
like the
was
hook
really
in
good.
this song.
Yeah.
It would be really funny to just put that into other songs.
Yeah,
jump
something.
scare.
But yeah, the band has a great sense of humor about them. That's a big moment on the song. Lyrically, there's 8. I forget what 8
Yeah,
was
it was
for, which
for.
always
That-
cracks me
yeah,
up.
That's
Yeah.
a great line. I
mhm.
wrote that down as like a standout. Like
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, and these lyrics are literally just about like telling people to screw up. Like
Yeah.
this is really just like, nah, who cares? Which
Teenage malaise. Yeah.
yeah, but it's kind of about a girl because every song on this
Of
track
course,
Yeah.
of course.
That,
Yeah.
that really goes for
Dude,
every single.
It's Violent Femmes for a reason.
Oh, I think I read that was supposed to, they came up with that as like a fake band name
Oh.
and then just
And it is stuck.
Yeah.
Violent Mask was already taken.
but I also wonder if this is about the scene. Like, this is something I know more about being a fan of Suicide than about this band, is the band Suicide. Sorry, we have a special guest in the studio who just shot me daggers.
Family heads, you know him all too well. Please welcome Tom Hate Album.
Hey, I don't know if you can hear me, but
It's fine.
We can hear you
Tom
just
definitely
fine.
hasn't listened to Suicide's infamous self-titled, and this may still be the case now, but like the punk scene, especially when it was really being formed in the late 70s, early 80s, was very much like, yeah, you're in, but also you kind of have to play our style of music. And so you get a band like Suicide, you get a band like Violent Femmes, where they've got the same ethos, but they're doing different instrumentation or just different things in general. And like audiences were not there because
into
they're
it.
like, we can't headbang to this, or at least it feels weird. So I wonder if this song is a little bit about that.
It could be.
Because that bass lick would also
Yeah.
fit that.
In terms of influences, this is the first song where it felt like an obvious influence to My Chemical Romance.
Oh.
Like I feel like they would have been a band inspired by this album. This song particularly, I was like, oh, I hear either lyrics or phrases where I'm just like, oh, that's something they would have like written, you know, like I could have seen them writing that 20 years later or whatever. So I thought that was an interesting pickup. Specifically, the I hope you know this will go down on your permanent record was a line where I was like, that feels like a my
checks
chem.
out.
Very theatrical.
Yeah, very much so.
And I would say, like, honestly, his whole delivery on this track is one of the more like theatrical performances that the vocalist has. Especially if he has more of like a speak singing kind of like flow all across Kiss Off, which I think honestly makes me kind of like this a little bit more than maybe some of the other tracks. And like that's what really makes it stand out to me. I also really like the bridge of the song a lot.
Yeah, the bridge is really fun.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the choruses too, where like it sounds like super classic with almost like the doo-wop-y kind of backup vocals.
Do it all the time.
Yeah, those are really fun. Yeah, I like the build-ups they have into the choruses as well. They're really short, but there's like a kind of like a charming sloppiness to it, which I dig all across this album.
It's like our podcast.
Exactly. Next up, we have Please Do Not Go.
Yeah, I feel like this is the most poppy song.
I definitely say that's like the most like folksy.
Yeah.
I think it's like the folk pop kind of like
I could see that.
genre.
I mean, I just literally wrote, this gives the most sit around the campfire and let's sing a song, but with very upsetting lyrics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But that was the vibe I got from it.
I was kind of getting some like Daniel Johnston vibes from this track, specifically like Tell Me Now off of Artistic Vices.
I think my comparison is kind of a Godwin Satan. Specifically like the kind of voice that Junior puts on a couple tracks. So like, you fucker.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
That's two other artists who made very not 80s sounding
Exactly,
music, because Godwin
yeah.
Satan was 89.
That was 90. Their EPs, like their cassette stuff, was early 80s.
Yeah.
That definitely was not anything else that was coming out at the time.
Yeah.
That was Brown before Brown, honestly.
Exactly. Sounds like there was a strange creature in here.
Yeah, I thought we got rid of all of them, AJ.
Me too, I guess not.
Is that the Gargunga box?
Oh, we got to fumigate before we ran out to space.
Can I be like Frank Reynolds, like, like lifting
Exactly
up the curtain
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was just picturing him.
Crawling on the floor.
in my blue sweater.
This was the point in my re-listen where I feel like when we covered this, I was like, wow, this really doesn't sound like anything else. And now I listen to this, I'm like, oh, they're just really inspired, I think, by Jonathan Richman. Because this more than anything else sounds like the almost Ice Cream Man, Jonathan Richman.
Gotcha.
But I have to assume they would have listened to his stuff, if only for the earlier stuff. And this sounds closer to that than anything else. Yeah, I don't know. Just something I was thinking about.
I really dig the focus of like, just like the snare drum here again is like the primary percussive force. There's a nice little guitar solo here before everything like comes back in for like a big hit. I love the bridge a lot. I would say it sounds very Brown, Matt. Like it just kind of has that like shoddiness charm to it. And the songwriting is really simple with the production as well, like that like spoken word delivery that they have.
Yeah.
But it really just gives like the album like such a unique identity that I really enjoy it.
No, for real. He does have a lot of gusto as the main vocalist, which I very much appreciated on every track. Well, I'd say on most tracks. Some of them, it gets a little much. I'm not going to lie. But I would say this track for me is one of my favorites, if not my favorite. Again, chorus, super fucking catchy. I love the more like bouncy feel it has. The drums feel like so buoyant amidst this like sea of like kind of crunchy production. Like I said, it reminds me of like the end half of Tell Me Now by Daniel Johnston.
The other thing I said about this song is it caught me off guard again that the guitar was an upbeat, not the downbeat. Because when the guitar comes in, I thought it was the downbeat, and then everything came in. I was like, "Oh no, it's the upbeat!" So
They got me.
Headphones.
it threw me off again.
And then I stopped listening to the album.
It threw me off 5 years ago, and it threw
has
me off
no more
again
notes for the
today,
rest of the-
or yesterday, or whenever.
It's like one of those music theory thumbnails where it's like they really overblow how like different the song is. It was like violent Femmes blew my mind. All right, guys, so I thought this was the downbeat,
actually
then
the
the
upbeat.
instruments come on and it's the upbeat. Let me show you that on the piano.
And like and subscribe.
They take 30 minutes to talk about it too.
There's a whole story leading up to it.
Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Here's honey.
Oh God.
Add it up. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Add it up.
I
Add
think
it up. Add it. I'm sorry. I thought we were doing the bit.
next time, Evan.
Okay.
Next episode.
Next episode, we're ending. It's hilarious. I think I like this song more in like concept than in execution. Like I understand the message that it's trying to give, but I'm just not like the biggest fan.
It's a little subtle, but I feel like it's pretty, pretty pertinent.
It takes a genius to figure out what he's talking about here. Oh my god!
Gotta have a high intellect to listen to Violent Femmes.
I really like this one. I gotta say, and this might go for both of the albums we're talking about. There's some points where I just kind of tune out the lyrics if I'm listening to it.
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah, but it's hard to tune it out here. It's
so prominent.
Yeah, he really.
He's down bad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you figure?
You care to explain for our lovely audience at home?
No, you can listen to the song.
Yeah.
I like the energy.
Agreed. I like how it keeps building as well, in like tandem with the lyrics. Really kind of emphasizes that that theme.
I wonder if Rivers Cuomo listened to this album.
You know what?
Oh my gosh.
You know what?
This isn't the
can see
song
it.
that I compared Weezer to on this album.
Interesting.
But we'll get there.
A different song.
Yes.
I very much had like that's a Cuomo moment if I know it myself.
See, if I thought Cuomo moment, there's two other Cuomos that I would think of before Rivers.
I do also really like this one a lot. I feel like it really moves, and we like really see the singer getting into it. I mean, that's very obvious.
He can't get into it. That's his problem.
Exactly. Ironically so.
That's pretty good.
I don't know if you listen to the lyrics, AJ, but
But like I said, it's kind of hard to pick up on the
as a Mensa member, I really think that I know what I'm talking about here.
But I feel like this track, like specifically, is really inspired by like Velvet Underground, like Lou Reed. Like I could like really pick up on like a lot of proto punk stuff, which is what I really enjoyed about it.
Yeah.
It is funny because the one thing I said was this was probably the most punk song on the album so far.
Yeah.
The one thing I had said, and obviously it's not the point of this band, but if you had put an actual punk band playing the same exact music, it would fit almost to a T in what was going on.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. There's also, I think this is the first time we hear a bit of distortion on an electric guitar. Similar to Matt, this song took me a while to actually get hooked to. I didn't like how it started, and it took a while for me to like really grasp it. But by the time we got, I think it was like verse 3, I think, that's when I was kind of like hooked with it finally. And the ending ripped. Like the ending was a phenomenal ending.
I love it.
Yeah.
But it did take time for it to click.
Yeah, there's like the whole intro build, which I like, but I can see like why it wouldn't be everyone's thing.
Yeah, it just didn't quite grab me right away.
Next up, we have Confessions. This is like the big bluesy breakdown track.
It's also like super emo.
Yeah.
Like I just have in all caps emo hours.
Yeah, he's been so lonely, man.
It's so like in a way, it's almost a little, what's the word?
Pretentious.
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm not cringy. What's the word I'm trying to think of?
Angsty?
Angsty, but like in a style before it would be considered cringy, I guess. Like I don't know. Like to me, it kind of came off as like, oh, okay.
Well, it's like those videos that are like when you're in high school and your friend messes around with alcohol for the first time. And it's the guy and he's got like Anakin superimposed on his face. You know what I'm talking about? What? Yeah.
I think I see what you're saying. I feel like overall though, it kind of really encapsulates just like the angsty teenage experience of just like just feeling unloved, like legitimately just wishing for death, violence, and retribution just to feel something. So it's like, we've all, at least I think we've all at least had those moments where it's just like we hate the world and like we just don't feel like accepted. So it's kind of a nice encapsulation of that. And the music reflects it, as kind of just like keeps building and building with this like slow, like lethargic 6/8 kind of time signature.
I feel like the music is kind of what makes me like this track a lot, for sure. Especially like the sort of wavering, like this is the one with the more like tremolo effect on the electric guitars, right?
I think so.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of a fan of that. And I also like the way that the chorus like crashes after each build up.
Oh yeah.
I also love the way that like the tom fills get put like in the different channels and it kind of pans around.
We got full kit this time.
That shit was kind of that was pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I thought the track was honestly really well done, especially in capturing what you were saying, AJ. Just this sort of like paranoid, angry, teenage
spiteful,
angst, spiteful. I also think it's like really well placed on the album too, because like
It's a good midpoint.
yeah, for sure. And the quieter moments where the bass gets to like take the lead as well is like really well done.
I agree.
It's not that I disagree, because I do think programming wise, this is the best choice to put this. But I do think that I really like the first 4 songs a lot. And then I feel like there's just a stretch of this album where like it's good. And I think this is maybe why I just don't listen to a lot of punk stuff. Maybe, I don't know. There's a certain amount of it that kind of, I don't want to say this is tiring, because it's too short of an album to be tiring.
Yeah.
And it's too good to be tiring. That's not the problem with it. But I feel like the momentum is there earlier, and then it kind of ebbs and flows as the album goes on. And I don't think that the slower tracks are bad, because I'll talk about Good Feeling.
Yeah.
But the slower tracks also just make me think of the background music in Twin Peaks.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's not a bad thing. I love the score to Twin Peaks,
But now when I'm listening to punk,
that's
Yeah.
the point of that music is it's in the background.
Yeah.
And I noticed as I was listening to this that I was kind of zoning out to the lyrics until he was like talking about the
they're
army.
gonna pay.
And then and then it really snaps you
Yeah.
back. But yeah, I think that's something that there's songs I love on this album, and I do love this album, but like as a whole, when you're talking about the album listening experience, I feel like it does show that it's their first album. And there are even some points where it does feel like they're treading the same territory.
Yeah.
Especially in the lyrics.
Of course.
Yeah. Because I think the best points are when they're being funny, or I'm not sure clever is the right word, but like
snarky.
yeah. And then the points where they're being more emo, it's like, I don't know. Maybe that's just not my taste and stuff. I feel like that would make sense to you that that's not really like
No, I
what
get
I
it.
look for in music.
I mean,
but-
I will say it's not the vocals or lyrics that carry the song. It is the instrumentation. Like that southern twang in this one
Yeah.
is like, oh, that's a good fit for this song.
Yeah.
I think I can safely say this was probably my first miss. And not a miss in terms of I didn't like the song, but I liked it. But it's the first one I wouldn't
Go back to.
search
Yeah.
out for, you know? It's fine. And if I'm listening to it in an album context, like it's a fun listen, but it's not a song I'd
Seek out.
no.
I would agree with that. Like I
Yeah.
think it's well done, and I
Yeah.
think it fits at this point on the album very well. But it's not like I'm going to Violet Femmes for this track specifically.
Right,
For
exactly.
Confessions.
Next up we have "Prove My Love," getting back into more of the meat and potatoes of
The
this
energy,
album.
yeah,
picking it back up.
kind of what the songs that are really good. Like this is a song where like it picked my interest back up in the
Yeah.
album. Where like the last couple songs I was kind of like in it, but not really. This one picked it back up, and the
Yeah.
Beatles chorus thing was great. I thought that was.
I agree.
Fantastic.
That was fun.
just fun. It was
Yeah.
a very fun song overall.
Really nice like call and response nature
Totally.
Yeah.
with this track that
absolutely.
I could really appreciate.
I think the second verse, I don't think it's as funny as number 8, but the Baskin Robbins joke, I think is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like just almost the kind of surf rocky influences this track has, which is a lot of fun. Really makes it just move. I agree with the choruses. I think they're just so much fun with the backup vocals and the way the lyrics just kind of flow over this like rockabilly feeling.
Yeah.
The instrumental accented breakdown is sick as hell and is really easy to get into. And you can tell these dudes are like super young, but it's like very easy to kind of remember like where you're like when you were a teenager. So that's like there's kind of like a nostalgia there and like a sympathy, which I like about this track.
Is this album misogynistic?
Let's
probably.
just
Let's just like
It is
rip that.
1983, of course.
Well, no, I mean,
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
of course. What, like that was a misogynistic year?
1983, the year of misogyny.
83 misogyny. It writes itself.
That's what they said in the streets, in their homes, on TV.
Women were not safe in 1983.
It's misogyny
Yeah, as if they're
again in
safe
America.
now, even, you know, like because they're so safe right now.
That's the platform
Exactly.
Reagan ran
84,
on.
beautiful year for women.
Gorgeous. The sun was out.
Nothing ever happened. Nothing bad.
Okay, but like, let's just talk about this now. Like, it's not in a way where he's like, I hate well, I don't know.
He's not saying it.
No, but it's
It's like I hate that I'm not getting with women. Yeah.
and like women are another thing.
Is it possible that like this guy was just the 80s version of an incel? Can we maybe take a step back
I think
and
that's
think about that real quick?
Too much.
Do incels transcend generation though?
Wait, hold on. You're cooking, I think.
Have they always been a thing?
Wait,
Question of the week.
Oh God.
but in a way, like with how much he's talking about this, like, girls, like I can't get them, and like they don't like me. It's like it kind of is like maybe there's a path where that could be a true where
he ends up bad ending.
Like if you put this in a modern day setting, is that how this person might be looked at as? That's kind of like the thought I had listening to it in a way. Like I'm not calling Gano. I'm not calling him an incel. I'm just saying, is it possible in a modern day sense? Like, could he be viewed as one, you know?
Well, I think I have this less with this album and more with Pinkerton, where like I listened to it as like a 13-year-old, and like part of it was just not processing it, and then listening to it like in college or later, I'm like, oh, again, it's not like I hate women, but it's like
there's things on here that just like don't age well and just sound scummy to say.
Yeah, definitely.
But moving on, next up we have Promise.
Yeah, I honestly, I didn't have much to say about this song. I like it.
Same here.
I think it's just a good song.
I don't really care about it.
Huh?
I don't really care about it. Gotta be honest.
I mean, that's okay. That's fine.
Fair enough.
And I'm not saying that as like a direct like, oh, you like it? I don't care. Like, it's more just like when I get to this point in the album, I legitimately just do not like this song. Does absolutely like next to nothing for me.
And you know what? I think oddly enough, I share the similar sentiments to that, but not in a more negative connotation of I don't like it. It's more like I like it, but it is like I don't really have much to say about it. Like it is at that point of the album where I just really I like the song as is, but I couldn't pinpoint why I like it. It's just a good vibe for me. So we're on the same page, but you just don't like the song and I do.
We're not so different, you and I.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's just because like it just feels very the same as like a lot of the previous tracks, so it didn't really stick out to me.
And I think I get that. Yeah, I definitely understand it. I think that's just a punk thing, to be
that's
honest.
very
punk
true.
is very samey.
The Clash self-titled is a huge fucking example of that.
No, but I do agree with the two of you. I had to look back, just like I was like, which one is this?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's fine. And correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like the intro to this one sounds like a song from earlier in the album. That's really vague. But like this one, I was like, did it shuffle?
Maybe.
I could see like after or whatever it's called, added up. Sorry.
Yeah.
So it starts with A.
I could see that. I couldn't tell you because again, it's just like
it's just solid.
Yeah,
for what
it's
is.
good.
It's got a nice riff to it.
I've got no issues with it.
Some more spoken word, like stream of consciousness delivery.
It's crazy that he predicted Logic.
Yeah, that's true. Well, next up we have To the Kill. This one's like kind of different from the riff. Got like a more kind of groovy styled riff and a very bouncy bass line.
I think this is the song you were talking about earlier, where you're like, there's one song with the bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the song I
the
had
bass
in
work
mind.
is so cool.
Yeah.
He doesn't know Al Capone though.
That's true.
Don't even like assume that
Don't
he
even
does.
try to
No.
assume that. This is the first song where, like, in a live setting, I could see it going extremely hard. Even with the setup that they have, I could just see people going ape to it, you know?
No, for real. It's very well done, I would say. I'd say this is one of the ones that very much stood out to me. Especially, like, huge fan of the emphasis on, like, the backbeats specifically. Set it apart for me, like, very well, I feel like. I feel like the vocals, they're like goofing around so much on this track, which like sometimes I do like it, and sometimes on other listens it was kind of like I don't know how I feel about it, but I feel like it kind of fits the lyrics because like Evan was saying, him saying like the I ain't no kid Chicago, I ain't no Al Capone, but there's a windy city in my bedroom alone. That's also kind of a hard fucking line. I'm not gonna lie, low key. But the bass work is like so crunchy, but like so meaty and solid, which I was a fan of. And I love how like emphasized in the mix on this one in particular it is.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where I first heard this song and literally the first thing I thought was, dude, Les Claypool definitely liked this album. He definitely listened to this album. Or just this song. I mean, it's so like just wonky.
Oh, totally.
In the style of playing.
But I agree. I do like the bass work a lot on this track. I think it's definitely a big standout. I also like the mixing a lot. It's very, very odd, but in a really cool way, which is like how like weirdly layered it is. The solo is really well done with like these really cool like rising tension distortion effects just in the background. And the chorus is also like smooth as fuck. I love like how everyone kind of comes together on the harmonizing repetition of certain lyrics. It just really like sticks with you, and it's a great way to end the track as well.
Yeah.
Penultimate track, we have Gone Daddy Gone, the big xylophone number.
Xylophone!
Yeah, this came out of
my
nowhere.
first note. That was the first note, literally. Just xylophone!
You're right.
The dueling
Correct.
solos between the xylophone and
That
the
was
guitar,
rad.
so
Yeah,
sick.
that was
really,
really cool.
liked that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it's interesting on an album with as stripped down production as this one when new instruments get put in, because that's on this song and the next song.
Yeah.
I was listening to this again and I was like, wow, this is like just skeleton music. This is
Yeah.
just this is just
down
what
the rib cage.
skeleton-
Yeah.
this is just what skeleton. But more
so
importantly,
good.
I think that this was released as the single because it sounds like a B-52's track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to
But
the guitar.
That's such a odd way of thinking 20 to 30 years after the fact. Wait, B-52s, when were they around?
They were
the
80s.
exact same time.
Yeah.
Dude, scratch everything I just said.
that's
Hold
on the
phone. Hold on. Stop saying anything
Let
real
him cook.
quick.
Ben did not say that.
B-52s, it made sense for the time that they were. And we're going to cut and splice that in. Cool.
B-52s, yeah, their debut was late 70s.
I mean, the B in
I
B52
know.
stands for Ben, right?
Dude, I mean, duh. Yeah.
I like this track too.
But I don't have the music language to describe this, but the guitarist for the B-52s, at least their first one before he passed, had this really unique tuning style and this very like rhythmic way of playing it that the guitar line in this sounds a lot like. So yeah, I feel like if you were the record label and you heard this, you were like, well, this doesn't sound like much of anything else. Like if you're trying to get people to buy stuff, you probably want to go with something that's similar. And so
Yeah.
I feel like this is the closest to anything else that was out at the time. I mean, Jonathan Richman was not
The most
super popular. The world should have been in, Jonathan Richman fever, but they just weren't.
Yeah. They weren't ready.
No, they were not. They weren't ready for
The Ice Cream Man.
7 minutes of live Ice Cream Man. So I can see why this was the single.
It's one of the more different sounding ones on this entire album.
And I think with
Definitely B-52s, you know?
yeah,
Ben, I'm really glad you brought up that point.
Yeah, you know what? I just wanted to show you my music history because I love the B-52s.
Yeah, that's right.
one of my favorites growing up because
Oh.
they came out with their debut in late 70s, as we all know.
When you turn 52, that's what we're gonna call you.
Yes, thank you.
That's why your parents
52.
named you Ben, because it starts with B.
Yeah.
They hate me. Wait, no. They like me. They had it all planned out.
And they were 52.
And they were, yes, thank you. I'm glad we got there, everyone. It all clicks.
That's pretty much all I got for Gone Daddy Gone.
The only thing I was going to say is this, and also Good Feeling. I think my problem with this album as a whole is that it kind of valleys. Like that middle part is neat.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be honest, if I sometimes with an album I like and I know well, I'll just skip the songs. I'm like, I don't feel like it. I could see myself going from added up to this. Like the songs in the
see.
middle are fine. I'm forgetting the name now. Is Prove My Love, What Do I Have to Do? Is that the chorus on that one?
I think
couldn't
so.
tell you.
Yeah,
That one's good.
I'm pretty sure.
The fact that AJ couldn't tell you shows how much
Yeah,
you really
okay.
like that song.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's kind of a shortcoming of this album. But again, it's not long enough to where that's like,
No, it kind of goes
huge
by. It never feels
concern.
longer than it is, which is nice.
yeah. But yeah, with that,
Good feeling.
This is honestly, in my opinion, like the best song on the album for me. I think
Okay,
just like
yeah.
placement wise, it's so different from what we've heard, and it's just like a nice change of pace as like, I guess for lack of better terms, the true ending. Because I listened to the rest of the
Yeah, the
tracks.
bonus tracks.
I did too. So
Okay,
if we
we all
want to
did.
briefly
Yeah,
talk
we'll
about
talk
them,
about
I would
it.
love to. I will.
Yeah.
I only have two things to say total about them. So
I do like it though. Like it's just very peaceful and I think super relatable, just wanting to feel good and reminisce of innocent times, which I think just like struck such a chord with me. I don't know if like lately, if just in this listening junction, I was very
In that
feely for some
headspace,
reason.
yeah.
But like, no, there's something about that where it reminded me of like the sense of bliss that I get when I hear like Going to California.
Ah,
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was thinking of Going to Georgia first. I was like, the one where he brings the gun to his girlfriend's house?
I love that bliss.
The bliss of the
Blissful
mountain goats
violence.
going to Georgia. No, Going to California by Led Zeppelin. I'm aware of that one too.
It like reminds me of that with like a bit more of a stripped back feel, which honestly I really enjoy. And also the piano, like the addition of that was something that really just made me feel like
So
the
blissful.
song was just so fucking blissful.
Yeah, this is Marshall and Lily's song on How I Met Your Mother. Yeah.
Oh, is it really?
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Interesting.
I was
never
gonna
seen that show. Don't
Neither
plan
have
on
I.
it. Yeah.
Same. Go team.
good.
I was just gonna say I actually really like this as a closer.
I agree.
The song in general, it's a nice shift in vibe.
Yeah, 100%.
The addition of a piano finally is a really nice, classy way to end it.
And violin.
Yeah,
I was about to say the violin solo in the middle.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
I
Yeah,
love
like
that.
this was the first track I genuinely was like, I really, really like this song.
It did get a playlist ad.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
So
Yeah.
Good stuff.
That sounds right for you. And what I was going to say about the instrumentation, I mean, you had obviously the xylophone before, as we've already
course.
talked about. But you have the piano, you have the violin on here, and I feel like it's always very powerful when these single instruments come in for a single track on an album like this. I don't know if this song entirely reminds me of Pink Moon by Nick Drake, but something about that song compared to that whole album
Yeah.
is that piano line in the first song sticks out so much because the rest of the album is guitar only.
Yeah.
And so it's sort of the same effect on here. Very different. Well, I get Nick Drake is very wistful, so I'm not even
Very
going to say
much
what I was
so.
going to say. But yeah, this works far better as a closer than the bonus tracks, which were singles and added on to, like a lot of 80s releases, added on to the CD release a couple years later.
cool.
Yeah, so that's why they're on there. So if you see it on streaming, you're going to see two tracks, Ugly and...
Give me the car.
Give me the car. I was going to say I got the car. He actually didn't. That's the problem.
That's true. That's the whole
we'll
crux of the
get there.
song. I was also gonna say as a last thing about Good Feeling, like the backing vocals remind me of like Candy Says by the Velvet Underground.
Oh, it's very Candy Says, yeah.
so
that's a good
why
comparison.
when you said like Lou Reed Velvet
Yeah.
Underground, I was like, oh, I was thinking more like this song, which I can very much see on the song that you were saying before. It's very Lou Reed coded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think this is a good ending, and I mean, you didn't listen to the other two tracks.
Nope.
You're not missing much.
You're not.
Yeah.
Well, actually, what I will say, Ugly, I actually really liked that song. Ugly, I liked. Give me the car. Okay, that was probably my least favorite song of the whole
They thought they
listen.
were really clever. They were like, wow, we're going to hint at saying the C word, but instead of actually saying it, we're going to hit a guitar string.
that's the Weezer moment I was talking about. I
Yeah.
feel like Rivers Cuomo would without a doubt
Yeah.
do
That's
that.
so true.
That checks out.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not missing much.
All right. Word.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
I think Ugly has like good instrumentation, and Give Me the Car. Anyway, let's get to our final thoughts.
Give me,
Yeah.
give me the car is...
Well, how about you guys? Give me your final thoughts.
Oh, hey.
Honk honk, you know?
Ben, don't do that.
I'm sorry, I got really excited.
There's no xylophone. You don't need to be excited.
um,
I guess Ben can go first since it was Evan's album.
Fuck.
Yeah.
From 5 years ago, listening to it for the first time, I hadn't listened to it again until recently. And I can say that I did thoroughly enjoy it this second time around. I don't know if that's because of how we formatted the show and the way we were listening.
Yeah.
Where this time I actually had like a proper way to sit down and take notes and listen to it like just by myself. But it was definitely better than what I remembered it being. However, I wouldn't seek this album out. It's not quite my full style, but there are plenty of songs on it that I put in my liked songs playlist that I wouldn't skip if they came on. And honestly, I know it's funny that it's like a folk, punk, whatever you want to call it, but I think in a regular punk rock style, I probably would like it better.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just my taste. I'm not really sure, but it's cool. It's a really good album. It's not my personal go-to in terms of sound, but I respect the hell out of it. It was a very fun listen. I definitely intend to go back to some of the songs, but I don't see myself going back to the full album.
And it's very fair. So what would you rate it?
I gave it a B
Yeah.
grade with a 7.8 out of 10.
7.8. Very fair.
I hadn't listened to this in full in a while because, to be honest, a lot of the times I just put it on and I get to add it up and go, okay, and then listen to something else. And I think that says something about it because it's really influential. And I think the fact that this anticipated a lot of the trends of what alternative music would be in the late 80s and early 90s, I really like that part of it. And I love a lot of the songs on here, but there is just that stretch in the middle where I really am like, ho hum on it. It's not terrible. It's just not as memorable, and I don't really know where to put that. I agree with B. I'd say like 7.8 sounds correct. I'm like, well, I'm between a 7 and an 8, so yeah,
Sounds
something
good.
like that. Yeah,
Dude, I like that rating.
I like that.
I hope that translated. That was a good clap.
That was a good high
That's
five.
pretty good.
I could hear it resonate off the studs in the
Hey,
basement.
Tom. Well, we're gonna move over to you now. What did you
what
think
are
of
your
that high
thoughts?
five?
Oh, I meant on the
Like
album.
like a 5.6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Is that leaning back or leaning ass?
It's leaning ass
On the cusp?
that chart. It's on the cusp of ass.
Okay.
And you could probably lick my ass. Shut up.
You wish.
Well, with that mess, should we get into our final thoughts?
Yeah. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Do it together?
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we might have some different things to say.
Okay.
Maybe don't.
Okay, maybe I'll go first.
Are you saying both of your different takes at once?
No, I don't think so. I think
All right.
one of you,
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Cool.
It might be good to end on a higher note. Let's just put
Sweet.
it that way.
Sick.
So, if I'm being real, this album was not really my cup of tea. I don't really know what it was about it. To kind of take you into my process, I gave this like 3 or 4 listens because like I felt like the first time the catchy songs, I was like, okay, cool. I kind of see it. Like, I don't know. And I tried to like find more things to like about it with each listen and I tried to spread it out too. I feel like I wasn't really like getting the effect that they were intending. To start off, like on some things I'm not too sold on. The genre, or at least this version of the genre, is not really like for me. I think like the sort of acoustic folk texture on this angle of punk is like just I'm not a big fan of it. Even if like the themes are very in line for the most part, especially if they were like really in the scene, like you were saying. In terms of like things that I enjoyed about it, like track list wise, it's kind of like Swiss cheese where like there's some holes in it of like enjoyment. This is getting worse the more I say it. Like, I mean, like there are some tracks I like a lot more than others.
Yeah.
I can very much see the appeal on tracks that I like, but like they're like, I guess you kind of exemplified that like in the middle of like, I don't really gravitate toward a lot of the sort of middle part of this album. I can see
every time you're about to say something, you do a look of
because I was a lot more mean when I wrote this.
And there's nothing wrong with
There's
that.
nothing,
You're
you know.
allowed to be negative.
That is
yeah.
true. There is nothing wrong with that. I respect your opinion right now.
I was gonna
When you're eating Swiss cheese, do you get to the holes and you're just like, ah,
Yucky.
there's no cheese here.
And then
God.
you leave the hole on the plate.
imagine like on a sandwich, like it's just like holes in the sandwich.
But you can't touch a hole. I'm sorry. I'm not going down that rabbit hole.
Fellas, I disagree.
Hey, Gano couldn't touch a hole. Let me tell you.
That's really true.
I could see a world where like maybe on a different day I'd end up vibing with this more, but for now it's kind of going to be on the back burner for me for a little while. So I'm thinking like at highest low B, but I'm going to sit it at a solid C+.
All right.
I think that's super valid.
Yeah.
I just want to put that out there because
Yeah.
my thoughts weren't far off from that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not like you were like F tier. This is
The most insulting thing
worse
wanted
than
to do.
angelic to the core.
Nothing is worse than angelic to the core.
You know, there are parts of
Not
this
yet.
where reminded me of Lickety Splickety. If
Yeah,
I'm
the
being
best
honest
track
here.
on the
I think the
album.
corrupt feature is really where I saw the similarities.
I heard Fred Durst come on and I went, yeah,
that tracks out.
That tracks.
All those parts where they sampled the news, yeah, I'm really
Yeah, and it was louder than the actual music. That was so awesome. But yeah,
I feel like Corey did it better though.
I really tried my best to like find more things to like about the album, but maybe it just didn't hit me at the right time. I did give this like 3 or 4 listens, so maybe one day I'll try again. But there are definitely some high points though. Like I said, just I feel like
Not your thing overall.
it like left me, I don't know.
Indifferent.
Yeah, indifferent's a good word.
I think
That's
that's
valid.
pretty fair. Because I mean, this album is like very samey throughout.
Yeah,
But I feel like that's kind of a reason that I enjoyed it because I just kind of like the sound of it overall. Like this album didn't really blow me away. I'm more in the camp of like you guys, Ben and Evan. Like I enjoyed it for what it was. I really specifically, for better or for worse, it's definitely encapsulates the experience of being a teenager. So I think like there's a lot of like relatability and nostalgia to that, just in like being like that young and that just kind of angsty, which I think is interesting. The musicality I think is also very interesting as well, just how they set up their instruments and how they mix everything. Because it sounds very DIY, but it also sounds very polished at the same time, which I think is very cool and a nice kind of charm to it. There's a lot of really cool creative choices on here. I think it never really overstays its welcome and knows exactly when to end. And even the stuff that is kind of strays away from the path is still tonally consistent, but gives enough variety to keep it interesting. So I'd say, yeah, solid B tier. I'm happy I listened to it. It's a nice kind of part of 80s history. And if you haven't listened to it, check it out and let us know what you think.
I have heard from like a couple YouTube comments that were talking about this album that like this is a quintessential like 80s album in a way.
Yeah. Well, it's quintessential to that part of the 80s that really didn't want to be the other part of the 80s.
Uh-huh.
You in the early part of the decade you had bands like this, R.E.M., Husker Du, but like a lot of bands that were coming out of these smaller scenes that eventually got signed to major labels or were heard by Kurt Cobain. And so then once Nirvana and Pearl Jam and kind of the Seattle grunge scene blew up, all this stuff came up and it was like, this is what you will also like because the 80s got very big for a certain type of music. And then the 90s retaliated against that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That makes sense, though.
So this kind of gets...
The underground seal of approval.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like a grassroots album because now, you could be watching a Wendy's commercial, I guess. And hear this.
Exactly.
But like in the 80s, it would be some guy in a record store who maybe just offended you because you checked out with like a Styx album. And it's like, if you want to listen to real music.
You check out the Violent Femmes.
Evan, you don't have to tell people that story, man.
Oh, sorry. Look, it was last week, so it's just fresh in my mind.
I need a new copy of Paradise Theater. I'm sorry. Well, that was Violent Femme self-titled, but Family Heads, we have one more album to discuss. So, Ben, would you like to take us on a ride on the White Pony?
No, I really would not like to do that, but I can explain the history.
Okay, that'll suffice for now.
White Pony is an album created by alternative metal Sacramento act Deftones. It was released on June 20th in the year 2000 through Maverick Records, which is a subsidiary label founded by Madonna and licensed through Warner Brothers.
Interesting.
Yeah, so Madonna got Deftones pretty big. This was their first release
All
with
her.
their... All her.
Yep.
That's the only reason.
Is she the RX queen?
This was the first release with their DJ, Frank Delgado. They were coming off fresh from touring their last album, Around the Fur. And then they went into the studio for 4 months to write and record this new record. Although the record label pressured the band to write quicker, this album was one of the longest for them to make during this period, as they were in the studio writing and recording for 4 months, like I said. And at this point, they felt like they had nothing to lose. Every time the label would be like, hey, we need something, they'd be like, eh.
I mean, yeah, coming off of Around the Fur, that makes sense.
Yeah. Overall, the album was received very well and continues to get positive feedback as a turning point for the band, disbanding themselves from the nu metal tag and infusing themselves in a more shoegaze, trip-hop, and post-rock in their iconic alternative metal sound.
I didn't really think about like genre pulling until like you mentioned those three, and it really does make sense why I like this album so much. Now that you just said it right
for sure.
now.
Have you
Yeah.
listened to any other Deftones albums?
Around the Fur,
Okay, yeah.
and like
Love Around the Fur.
and like,
But that's
honestly,
not what we're talking about. Unfortunately.
Next time.
Maybe next time.
I mean,
Banger.
I
Yeah.
fucking love Around the Fur. Like, that is my true, like, if I'm talking about a 10 out of 10 Deftones album, it's Around the Fur.
I remember like I'm pretty sure I've listened to at least most of it. And I remember like Mascara, for example, was
So
like
good.
one of my favorite moments off of that album.
Mm-hmm.
So I was kind of going into it being like, all right, it's probably not going to be like something that's that much my speed, but like whatever. Like I'll probably find some things to like about it, like Around the Fur. I was honestly so shocked by how much I loved this album.
Hell yeah, man.
Like this kind of blew me away.
Hell yeah.
Well, shall we hop right into it then? If it blew you away so much, Matt.
Yeah, your favorite song off of this, I have to imagine, if you loved it so much.
Yeah, back to
to
school.
School.
Mini Maggot.
That's right. By the way, a song that was not originally
Yeah,
on the
released.
album.
Mhm.
This song
You
was
tell?
well, this song was added after its initial release because the label, after the album came out, they went to them and said, "We don't have a good single for this album." To which they were like, "Yeah, you do." And they were like, "No, you don't have like a Limp Bizkit Korn song. You don't have a radio single that fits with that." And I don't know if it was out of spite. I know that they look back on the song kind of in a negative connotation,
Yeah.
but not really, because they do play it live every now and then.
But it's not on the 20th anniversary edition.
It's not. They did not include it on the 20th anniversary album. No. So
Gotcha.
it's one of those songs where there is a bit of a negative connotation around it from the band. Specifically, Chino citing that song wasn't even supposed to be a thing and that it was just thrown together.
Yeah, at the last minute.
Very much last minute. As you can tell, it's just
Yeah.
taking parts from the
Another
album
song, yeah.
and trying to make it into a new metal-esque song. So
Yeah.
with that said, back to school.
Exactly.
Yeah, if this went farther, I'd almost say it was satire.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
This was worse than I remembered, because I remembered the bit that's the same as the closing track. But there's that mumble part in the middle that I was just like kind of laughing at. Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Like it's just sort of funny, especially if you know Korn and Limp Bizkit, because this doesn't actually have the same anger angst as that. It's just sort of nonsense
Yeah.
because the lyrics are taken from something
Yeah.
completely different. And also, have you seen the video?
No.
No.
I've seen it.
It's just him like walking around a school. And he's,
Yeah,
like,
it's him rallying a high school, essentially.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He's the leader.
He's the leader.
We are the leaders.
I mean, even though like it is just kind of a thrown together song, I still do like it. Like, I think it's
too.
fun.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, honestly, 5 years ago when talking about this on Album Tonight, I kind of was pretty harsh on it. I actually really like this song in the sense that if you heard this song live, you're going to bop your head.
Yeah.
I did in my car.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
Like lyrically,
It's-
it's
yeah,
cringy. It's
exactly.
not like,
yeah.
and I don't think it's cringy in the sense that like the chorus is cringy or like what he's talking about is cringy, but obviously the style in which
Yeah.
he's doing it and how satirical it kind of is for why they did it.
Yeah.
Because there is no song on the album
No,
that sounds like this.
absolutely
This was
not.
definitely the one where I was like, oh, this is the new
Yeah.
metal song.
Yeah.
Like
This is their
and it's-
obligation.
yeah, so I feel like I really like how they used Pink Maggot's lyrics and chord progressions. I don't care for the verses lyrics, obviously.
I
Those
agree.
are the cringy parts.
Yeah.
But the chorus itself is really fucking
Yeah, man.
good.
It does get your blood pumping.
It's a nice kind of foreshadowing too, especially in tandem with Pink Maggot. It's almost like a full circle moment by the time you get to the end of the album.
Which is
for
definitely
real.
an unintentional
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But,
but it's cool.
works.
Yeah.
It's cool that it kind of worked itself out in that way, because that is like one of the main reasons why I grew an appreciation
Yeah.
for the intro for sure. Plus, it's just catchy.
Yeah,
you
it is
know?
very
super
catchy.
And there's a reason why it was a radio hit.
Exactly.
I just looked up Back to School and the Rodney Dangerfield. We came
Oh,
off.
hell yeah. Let's go.
Back to School Deftones.
I hope there's an edit out there.
I will say the only thing I wish is that I listened to Pink Maggot before I knew Back to School was a song.
I see.
Because when listening to this album, by the time I found it, Back to School is already kind of like the leading song, even though it wasn't supposed to be. So that was the first thing I heard on this album. I almost wish I didn't hear it on the
Yeah.
album first. I wish it was an after. thought experience, but it's a good song.
I agree.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's very fun. That's bottom line.
Yes, fun's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I definitely agree. The verse lyrics are not very good, very unsubtle. Just like Keith, I'm flipping it while you just keep it simple.
Yeah.
But I agree. The chorus is super catchy. I love the sound of the drums, just how overwhelming like the crash cymbals are with like the shoegaze haze that coats the track as well. The guitar shred's super hard, and I also just love like how much like the fills all across them like rely on like snare accents. I think that's a really fun like touch that Abe Cunningham just does like on all Deftones songs.
I don't know. I like this song in the same way I like Dirty Window. This song just, I think it's goofy. I don't think it's great.
Yeah,
That's fair.
It was number one in Portugal.
Yeah.
So that's
I don't think it was number one anywhere except Portugal.
I was gonna say, I just told you.
Wait a minute.
Wait, hold on. Say that again.
What did I just say?
No, but like I was just curious because the US, it didn't chart on the main chart. It charted 27 on alternative airplay, which what? And then 35 on mainstream rock. But like for this time, for this song to be considered a success, considering how well Korn and Limp Bizkit were doing, I don't know. Not to like I'm actually you. I was just curious.
Yeah, sure.
Because I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to listen to this and not be like, this was a contractual obligation.
Yeah.
And the stuff I like about this song, like genuinely, is because it's from the other song that I like.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I still think this is goofy. And more than anything else, the lyrics don't sound like the rest of the album.
Oh, definitely
No.
not.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Kind of though, because no, they don't sound like the rest of the album in how goofy they are, but I think they honestly fit with a pretty big theme on the album, which is being a teenager. It's just the like, and that is like a huge theme that you see across a bunch of the songs.
Yeah.
It's just a lot more blunt.
In your face.
Yeah, blunt
Yeah.
and like and I think that's why it's so like
Jarring.
like okay, like this is goofy. But it does, oddly, in my opinion, fit
kind of capture the
thematically.
themes.
Yeah.
I think the disconnect is that the other lyrics are so angsty and violent, and this is just like, if the other lyrics on this album are a high schooler writing about their angst, this is a song where a middle schooler is writing about their angst.
Sure.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
that checks out.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think like in a way though that almost like works because you kind of see it not like this is definitely not like the most like, oh, I'm in for some like deep shit kind of song because it's very much like, you know what I mean?
Pens and pencils erase his desk.
And I think when exactly
such a pest.
And I think honestly with that,
Just the
when
monster
the
rap
album
with school supplies.
Erase a pencil. Laminated sheets.
That's pretty good. There's definitely a teacher who thought about that. That is like that is a fan of that album.
How you write your syllabus.
Yeah, he's
To back
rapping
to
it out. What I was gonna say though is like I think because of how like I guess in comparison to some of the other lyrics in this album, like not as like hard hitting and maybe even like a little bit more shallow they might be on here. When the album gets like really real, it's a really cool effect of how it unfolds. You know what I mean? So I feel like I got kind of an excitement of like, wow, where is this gonna go? Because it's like such a very like interesting way to open. And then I was just kind of impressed as it went along.
Yeah, because it's a huge left turn on like the next track.
For sure.
Speaking of which,
Shall
it's
we hop
called,
in?
It's called. Please.
Holy fumble.
Hold on. Shut up.
Feiticeira.
Wow, thanks, Ben. That was really beautiful.
You're welcome. I knew how to pronounce that.
What does that mean?
It means witch.
Okay, cool. The true opener.
Yeah, this is the true opener, and as the true opener, it grooves hard.
That it
my
does.
God,
It grooves
yes.
real hard. It's not my favorite song on the album. In fact, this honestly rates a little lower than a lot, but that doesn't say much because it's still a damn good song, and it's the first true song where Chino's vocals are... He does a really good thing where when he's harmonizing with the other instruments, not with himself specifically vocally, but when he's harmonizing with the instruments, he knows how to pick tones or pitches that don't fit in the chord, but he forces it to fit. And this is a good song where he does that, where he sounds off, but it's super purposeful.
Yeah,
and it
for
adds
real.
to the chaos kind of
totally.
energy to it. And it's a damn good song. And as a true opener, it's another tone setter.
Yeah, this sounds like White Pony.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fucking rad, man. I was a huge fan of this track. His delivery is like, I don't know. I wrote it like almost like seductive in a weird way.
100%.
It's like whispery and seductive and like kind of enthralling to listen to. And like, I love just the overall, I guess, like mixing of this track of how it kind of sounds like it's coming out of like a phone receiver in a way. Like you're trying to process everything that's going on, but there's so much noise, but like coming out of like a really muffled sounding like
device.
in a way. The chorus on this one got stuck in my head several times throughout like all my listening junctions, and the bass work on here, one of my favorite moments for sure.
Totally. I really dig the chugging accents leading to the verses where everyone just like hits with so much force. The concept for the track is also really neat, and I like how this track and the next one are kind of like opposites of each other in concept, which is really cool. It's from the perspective of someone being kidnapped and like kind of liking it. Yeah. And I think that also kind of lends into what you were saying, Ben, about like his vocal delivery, how like he kind of really captures that feeling as well.
I mean, this is the opener they wanted for the album. I think it sounds like that. But what's interesting is that trying to put myself in the place of a fan in 2000, like this would be a weird first 2-song stretch. Like, let's say you don't know about all the label drama with the first track. So you take these first 2 tracks and you compare it to Adrenaline and Around the Fur, and it's like, this isn't.
It's different.
It's very different.
It's very different.
I really like the snare on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think it's very of the time, but I think they've got it in a way where it's still punchy without being annoying or too loud in the mix.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like the lyrics to this track, but I have some mixed feelings on the lyrics, and not for any like real reason, just my own
Like taste.
on it. And I'll get to that later, but the gist of it is like on tracks like this, especially where he's more quiet, I guess is the best way to put that. Like, I wasn't really processing the lyrics, and I've heard this a decent amount of times, like the lyrics just weren't mattering to me. But that also might be because when I'm listening to music more like this, probably more shoegaze than this, a lot of the times the lyrics are, who knows? I'm not even, like on something like Loveless, I'm not sure there's official lyrics for that because it's just
It's too hard to tell.
yeah. Under 300 layers of guitar.
Exactly.
No, exactly.
I can only think of this as the opener, and at this point, the band does too.
Yeah.
And there's a good reason for that.
makes
It's a
sense.
good opener.
Yeah.
And I think that having this come first would set a different impression for a listener at the time, but I think that it would be an interesting impression. Like, if someone was listening to this in 2000 and Back to School didn't exist and this was the first track, this is a much better introduction of this is Deftones,
Yes,
but we
at
are
this
going
point.
in a different direction.
Yeah. Yeah, I would
Totally.
agree with that. And to go off of that, this was a big turning point for them where they kind of, I mean, the first 3 albums, or 4 albums, I should say, really, the first 4 albums, they really did not give a fuck what they wrote. They really were just like, we like this, so
Here it
we're
is.
here's what we write. If you don't like it, okay, we like it. And that's the energy for the first 4 albums. It's after the 4th album where they really had to change that. But great song. I mean, I love it.
And I think the next one is even better.
Oh, the next,
Yeah.
the next one, talk about everyone pulling their weight. I mean,
man.
it's the first instance of Chino, his writing really coming through, because before this, I don't know how much he actually wrote the music, but I know it wasn't as much. I think Steph, their guitar player, wrote the majority of the music, and he kind of was more of the vocalist, lyricist. This album was kind of the first time Chino really took a stab at being a main writer, and this, like, you'll see it, but all the softer songs Chino wrote, all the heavier songs Steph wrote, and
That makes sense.
that's kind of just how they did this album. And supposedly they were butting heads a lot at first, and then when they were like listening back to tracks, they were like, yo, like, this is kind of crazy. So this is the first instance where this is like a Chino heavy track that he wrote a lot of it, but every single person pulls their weight in this song.
Totally.
Kind of to add on to what you're saying about like Chino writing the softer tracks, later down the line, I really like the lore of like the softer track that's like, I think it's number 7. I really like the lore surrounding that as I was reading more on it.
Yeah.
But this track is also really good. I love one, at least in the beginning part, kind of like the come down that like is in the intro of this. It's like, again, like unsettling, but in like an oddly intimate way, which I was not.
Exactly.
I like the drums on here.
Yeah, the drums are super intricate. Like the way that Abe as a drummer in general, just to put it out there, is, in my opinion, one of the best groove drummers in metal. He's so damn good at filling a pocket, and he never overplays. He knows his part, and he does it really fucking well. And this song is no different. He knew the part he needed to play, and it fucking super exceeded. I mean, superseded. That's a word. It was so good. It's so good. Same with Chi Chang on the bass. Like, insane.
Yeah, I love the guitar riff on here. I really like the synth part that comes in. It's really subtle. It kind of reminds me of the synth part at the end of Heavy Metal Drummer.
Oh, off of like Yankee Hotel?
Yeah, which that guitar hit, that's what I wrote down. But the part before yeah, and then it gets into the really like intense last minute.
Yeah, that's a guitar hit.
Yeah, I think this song just has a great structure. I think in terms of a lot of the lyrics on here, it's weird to say I like the lyrics because it's like
murder.
Yeah. But I think the lyrics on this one, I think they work on this track. That's what I'm going to say now.
Yeah.
Because I don't really have anything to say about this. It's in comparison to some other stuff later. But
yeah.
Now we've got Elite.
Oh, man. If you're talking about a straight fucking rage song, I mean, this song is not like Rage Against the Machine, but I mean like rage.
You want to
like
rage.
You're angry. I mean, this song is the song. It's full, like all gas, no break. It's so
adrenaline.
Bouncy, like.
Well, I mean, literally adrenaline. This is the first song on this album that sounds like it could have been
off of Adrenaline.
I think the only thing that wouldn't be true, well, one, the saturation, we've talked about that before, but but the vocal effects I don't think they would have done on the two earlier albums.
No, yeah.
So that sets this apart, because this and what was the other one? Street Carp are the ones that I could see being on earlier albums, and Street Carp is a little more
around the fur.
Yes, and straightforward to what they were doing at the time, as opposed to this.
Street Carp, I mean, we'll get there, but Elite is very much like
super heavy, super driving.
It's not quite classic Deftones, but it's Deftones pushing the throttle of what they already do even further. Chino is, oddly enough, this is going to sound weird, he's destroying his vocal cords, and it's beautiful. It's like
totally
insane how aggressive it is.
It's like his screaming is like borderline perfect for this track, I feel. Like the chorus, I don't know, like it's weird because I feel like the whole "when you arrive, you'll bleed out of control" like chorus, it's kind of goofy to me, but like I still love it so much. It did have me kind of like low-key thrashing in my car.
It is funny. It comes off very like, that's a weird line. I had to look it up because I was like, I don't, like, what is he? At first, I thought he was talking about like another like murder type thing similar to the last song. It's actually supposed to be a metaphor of people that act like they have more weight that they carry than they actually do to get attention, which comes from the line of "you like attention," and where he's saying, when you're ripe, as in when you actually have these burdens, you're not going to know what the fuck to do with yourself. It's kind of his way of telling these people you're posers in a way.
I think one of the lyrics that really encapsulates that is "you're into depression because it matches your eyes."
Yeah,
that's a hard fucking
damn
line.
good line.
Yeah. I think the lyricism on this track is really, really cool. Even though it is so like guttural and primal, it's still like sending a message. Like the post-chorus lyrics, like the "you're pregnant" one is like so like
it's like kind of wince a little bit for sure.
But I do really love the digital elements all across this album. Here's like the really kind of like first example of like how they're kind of utilizing that with their sound to kind of move forward with, like you said, Evan, the vocal effects, as well as the different kind of synth focus and the modulation and distortion.
They're Daft Punk for a second.
Exactly. Daft Punk.
Daft Punk. That's pretty good. The robotic vocal section like wasn't my favorite thing about this track, but it didn't take away from my enjoyment like whatsoever.
For sure. I agree.
You do just kind of want to beat the fuck out of somebody when you listen to this.
Exactly.
Not gonna
You
lie.
do.
On that note, next song.
RX Queen. I like this one a lot.
It's really good.
This one's fucking rad. I love the choruses on this track so much.
I'm indifferent. I think this song's good. I wouldn't put it up as one of my favorites on this album.
Gets kind of close to Saint Anger Snare.
They are very
How
bonky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it does get like, I think this is what Lars probably wanted it to
yeah.
sound like.
Ah.
Definitely.
Okay.
I can agree with that because the snare tone in general is very pingy,
Yeah.
but it actually works for the genre and for
Totally.
this album.
Yeah.
So yes, it's probably what Lars wanted, but then Lars got what he wanted.
A little
and it was like, oh
overzealous.
shit.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh fuck.
He didn't want stock, and
He did not get
certainly did
stock.
not get
yeah. I'm just gonna get this out of the way. The lyrics on here, I think, lose me. Like on this track and others, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what it is exactly, but like sometimes it sounds like a scene kid in the hallway in high school, just like loudly singing the song, being like, "This is my feelings."
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. There's something about the lyrics on some of these songs that I'm
Yeah.
like, this is not what I connect to. Not in a way where I'm like, this is wrong and you can't like this, but there's something about it that reminds me of that. It reminds me of honestly what I thought like My Chem was like until I listened to My Chem.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm giving the right impression here, but there's
You know what? I think I get what you mean. And I think this is a good, because I was going to bring this up at some point. This is the first Deftones record of any sort where Chino made a very conscious decision to not write about himself. Like every feeling or story or whatever, he literally was like, none of it's about me.
Yeah.
And his point for that was that he felt stuck writing about himself. Like Around the Fur supposedly is a very personal like album for him, which
No
is very
kidding.
which is very funny. But he wanted the freedom of not having to explain himself with lyrics. So when it came time for people to be like, "What'd you mean by this?" He'd just be like,
I don't know. I thought this was cool.
yeah, pretty much like thought it sounded like a cool story. So in a way, I do kind of agree with you that some of the lyrics come off as not goofy, but a little too
I don't
over
wanna
the top, maybe.
I don't
like
want to say performative because that's not really what that word means.
Super performative, but almost over the top to the sense of over exaggerated.
Yeah,
maybe.
there we go.
And I think that comes from a place of I don't think he actually feels what these.
Yeah,
like
he's
he doesn't
just
feel
saying
these.
stuff.
He's
Yeah.
He does it poetically for the most part, but there are certainly lines on this album that are very just a little over the top, I guess.
Matt, what do you like about RX Queen?
What do I like about it? Honestly, might be one of my favorite songs on the album. I really love how like the drums sound so like rumbly and distorted, but then there's some moments where like the guitars sound like crunchy, almost in like a Dr. Rock kind of way. The way they kind of just like enter when the song starts.
Yeah.
Then like there, I can very much see the Saint Anger like
The snare font.
sort of like similarity as in the like some of the parts in the song where it sounds like really really pingy, very bonky. I also really like how riff forward the verses are. I don't know if it's like if that is a bass or guitar. I can't really tell.
Sure. I think it's guitar. I don't know though. It
There's
might
a
be
nasty ass
both.
bass riff on here, so it could be that too.
Yeah.
I really like how like forward it is with that leading the way and how the verses kind of like expand on that specific riff in like the second chorus specifically. There's like this weird artificial like nature to this song that I think makes it nasty as fuck.
Yeah.
And his vocals sound like so maniacal, which is really cool and disturbing, but like kind of wanted me to come back for more in a weird way. So this is a really cool track.
I agree. I think this is also like an up there for one of my favorites on here. I mean, you guys kind of hit all on the points. I actually kind of like the lyrics on this one. I like the storytelling and just what the concept is about, like this dude who kind of like enables his drug addict girlfriend, but eventually it causes like her death.
Yeah. The theme on this one's similar to another track down the list, but this one's more narcissistic in a way. The other one is a lot darker.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good theme. I like the lyrical concept. Fun tidbit, Scott Weiland of Stone Temple Pilots is an uncredited feature on the choruses.
Wow.
That's pretty
That's
rad.
pretty neat.
Yeah.
Shall we move on?
Let's do it.
Next up, we have Street Carp.
I remember I think this is a thing on our episode. Like what is this name?
Street Carp? Yeah, I don't know.
Because addresses, Evan. They're on the street.
Because they're on the street. I'd go mental if I heard this live. It is such a bouncer.
Yeah,
I mean,
it goes hard.
This is just like
Mm-hmm.
the whole song. I mean, if people could see what I was doing, it would make more sense.
Yeah,
but
audience,
people aren't gonna
imagine what Ben was
imagine
doing.
the sound I just made. Now imagine what I'm doing with that sound.
question of the week.
What is Ben doing?
But it really
I hold
would.
in my hand a coin. You can see it right here. I'm gonna make
Evan
it.
Swiggy's magic trick.
I'm gonna make it disappear.
Whoa!
Yeah!
Damn, that was cool.
Oh, Matt.
All right, Meg, you pull your pants up now.
I will say, Street Carp is the one song where I really thought it sounded more like Adrenaline and Around the Fur.
Yeah,
like
that's
it is
fair.
the most reminiscent of those albums, in my opinion, and it's so good. It's so good.
It's just such a crunchy way to like start the track too. Just like it's such a good way to blend like the shoegaze like with the heavy. I think it's just such a great tone setter. I like the theme a lot of this song too, where it's just like not giving this person you don't like your information, so they can't find you.
So valid.
Like that shit's funny as fuck. I like the fast paced outro, and I like how the kind of like motif of the address constantly being
Different,
Like,
yeah.
it's such a cool bit.
It's a good bit.
Yeah.
I forget.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's funny the way he sings it. I always think he's drugged out when he's trying to do it.
Yeah.
So a part of me is like, yeah, he is giving the person the wrong information, but I also think there's a part of him that
could be.
actually doesn't really know.
Can't think of it.
Can't really. Yeah.
6, 5, 3.
And I think the way he sings it is great. It just sounds super drugged out to me.
Maybe this is a song about how they sent their record to Madonna to get them big.
That's what it is.
Oh, couldn't figure out
Oh,
her
I forget.
address.
As opposed to the Beach Boys, who have a song where they dox themselves and they just give directions to their house. Take a left now. No, it literally. No, I'm not even kidding. It's like turn left at the mailbox. Like the chorus is just
awesome.
Hey,
just
see the
scribed-
beach? Take a left.
Then you take a left.
Yeah, Carl was not screaming on that. Oh shoot, is it Carl singing that?
Key is left and the bush is to the right.
You're basically singing
On
busy
6,
doing
1,
nothing.
5.
No, I'm not kidding. Busy doing nothing. Fuck me. All right.
Wow. So Matt, what did you think of Street Carp?
Busy Doing Nothing by the Beach Boys off of Friends from 1968. Matt, what did you think of this song?
Oh my god. I like the guitar riffs on this one in particular. The choruses on here are so good. Someone in the comments said that like in the track list, this is one of the more like underrated tracks on here.
Definitely.
And I would definitely agree.
Yeah.
It's a shorty, but like a goodie. You know what I mean? I felt weird saying that. I don't know why.
Usually
man.
it's oldie but a goodie.
I mean, close enough. Fuck it.
I love the moments where the guitar gets like super like almost 8-bit sounding.
Yeah.
Like it just gets
Mm-hmm.
real like I feel like the boundaries of how like it's supposed to sound get really pushed on this track. I also just love the delivery of him saying like what was it like didn't get it, write it down. Like something
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
that feels very manic and like fuck, I really got to remember this.
Again, very like drugged out, kind of like
On the fly.
on the fly. Yeah. It's, yeah.
Shall we talk about track number 7?
Sure.
All right. Teenager. I like this one quite a lot.
Chino apparently wrote this when he was 15.
Yeah, this was
is
a
kinda
song
cool.
he wrote lyrically when he was 15. The music they wrote after the fact
Yeah,
during
gotcha.
the session, but lyrically all the lyrics were, which is
It's like
again,
Around the World by Oasis.
but yeah, he wrote them when he was 15, and kind of funny enough, just perfectly goes with that theme of
Oh, yeah, being a teenager.
It's one of the more blunt ones, along with Back to School, but like the bluntness
In a
of
good
this
way.
is that it literally was written when he was a kid.
Yeah.
I see.
Like it sounds super intimate. I think this is like the perfect point in the album to kind of bring things down a little bit. And this is like where you really get like the trip hop kind of influence, which I think is super fucking cool.
Oh my god, for real, that's like one of my favorite aspects of this song. I was honestly kind of blown away when like I was like, "There's a song like this on this album." Like, what the actual fuck? This is so cool.
I'm not gonna lie, I disagree. And this is such a personal thing, and I cannot put this into words well. I really like Around the Fur, and I think the reason that I like that album more than the other Deftones that I've heard is because it just doesn't do this thing that I have trouble describing, but like I really noticed it on this listen. Like there's just some songs where I feel like the song doesn't like, it's not that it doesn't resolve, because musically that's not what it's doing. Like there's something about it that feels like an idea, not a song to me, at least the way it's written. And I feel like that's going to be unpopular, but I feel like it gets started but never goes anywhere. And it's not like something terrible, but I feel like that's why, even though I like a lot of shoegazy sounding stuff, I like Smashing Pumpkins as well, and those two things I think combined kind of make this album. But like maybe it's the metal side of it, maybe it's something else, but like there's something about it that just like doesn't click, and I can't really explain it better than that.
I'm kind of somewhere in the middle of you two, where I like this song. I think it is good for what it is. It took me a really long time to like it, because in a way I do agree. It doesn't sound finished. And I chalk that up to a couple things. I chalk that up to, they were lyrics from when he was 15. So there's a sense of uncompleteness there, but also it's kind of their first time really stepping outside of their comfort zone with this kind of trip hop thing. And I think that might also just be a thing of it's new and they're learning. Yeah. And the only problem is though, they do this on future albums too, where they kind of go into this realm and it still doesn't work. If not, it actually is worse. Like this actually is on this album is pretty good. You go to their next album and there's a song and it's like, what the fuck are you trying to do? And it's kind of in a similar realm, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of in the middle. I like the song. It's not super high on my list for the album, but I don't skip it. Like, by the way, no songs I skip on this album. Every song has its place for me. But this is a song where it's like, okay, like, I'll listen to it. And the chorus is really like, it's such a tick in my head where I'll just hear, now I'm through, and I'm just like, what the fuck is that from? But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with this song, kind of in the middle of everyone.
I mean, I still really like this one. Like, even though it is like written like when he was 15, I feel like the lyrics are like still kind of like a gut punch to them, because there's like that raw, just kind of like teenage angst and emotion, and just like the sadness that comes with like being rejected.
Yeah, for sure.
But the next track, kind of fucking rips.
Dude. This is one of 3 songs on this album that are like top Deftones songs of any album. Yeah. And this is one of them. This song is, the first time I listened, I will never forget the chills listening to this song for the first time.
Verbatim what I wrote as my first sentence.
It was one of those things where like, when the song started, I was like, oh, this is really cool. I really like the direction it's going. And then you get to this Pink Floyd, female singer thing going on. Dude. And cool. And it does kind of that Pink Floyd thing in Great Gig in the Sky. And then it gets back to the chorus and she's just full on screaming. It's
such a great moment.
It's one of those, like, you gotta clench when you hear it because it hits so
hard.
Gritty and disturbing.
But I mean, this pulling you in at the weird way.
And it's like lyrically, this is like RX Queen. It's the same theme, but on a such
grander,
visceral, darker level of like, it's using this theme of addiction, or it's using this idea of addiction, but putting it on this self-harm view, and how self-harm, you do it to catch this high, and you enable other people to also do it, which is why it's like, everyone go get your knives. Let's all experience this. It's an enabling, but a dark, visceral way of doing it to be like, don't you want to feel like this feeling? Bleed out, and I'll show you what it feels like. And it's like, Jesus Christ. And like when you have the lady screaming, and oh my God, this is one of those songs where I hear it and I just want to cry because I'm like, this is so much right now. But I absolutely adore this song.
I agree.
It's honestly, like, for what it's trying to do, I think it's very well executed for sure. And really just like that disturbing factor, I think, is what makes this like probably one of the highest points of the entire album.
100%. I think the guitar riff is so well done. It just feels like so cold and echoey, which feels like very appropriate for this track.
Oh,
The
yeah.
drums go fucking crazy on the choruses, which I love with the accented crash hits and the snare builds. And Rodleen Getzy, the female vocalist, he put some fucking work into this track.
Yeah.
Easily steals the show. I love just like the build up before like the breakdown on the bridge. It's such a great track. Also, the chorus is super catchy as well. Knife Party is excellent.
I really like the music.
I remember you said this 5 years ago, what you're about to say.
It's just like silly.
Yeah.
I wish that I connected with it like that. Like the song that's coming to mind is like Hurt by Nine Inch Nails. That's a song that's about similar subject matter, although that's more personal. That's not about the getting other people to do it. It sounds like a bunch of kids being like, come out to play. Like, I don't know. Because I remembered that, and that's the part I remembered. And then the song started, I was like, but like musically, I really like this. But like, it was funny that you compared it to, is it RX Queen, Prescription Queen? I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's RX Queen. I think Prescription Queen, you could call it that because
That's what it stands
that's
for.
what it is.
Like
Yeah.
an RX
Yeah.
number, yeah.
But it's funny you compared the two because it's the same thing for me where I'm like, I don't. This
Yeah.
isn't, can't
Not
connect.
for you.
Yeah.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. What's this next track for you, Evan? Korea?
I like I guess I'd call it the bridge more than the verse and chorus. But I really like the transition between Knife Party and Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
sure.
I like that part. The stereo ending I thought was cool. Like, I'm not going to say that part was subtle, but the fact that they're not overusing, like, ooh,
Yeah.
we're going between channels. That's really it. Again, like, the points on the album that I notice the lyrics are when I'm not connecting. When I don't, that's kind of a sign of it. I guess I don't connect with the lyrics at best. It's background noise.
Sure.
At worst,
It takes you
it's-
out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I see
Yeah.
what you're saying.
I think Korea is a very nice follow-up to Knife Party. The riff like sounds super like nu metal, and I like how like it's mixing the channel, especially with how pounding the bass is. The lyrics are super horny and about doing cocaine. This is where White Pony comes in
Yes.
to fruition. I really like the DJ scratches on this too. I feel like that's a nice touch here, especially kind of being foreshadowed on Teenager. And then I like Chino screaming on the bridge is like really sick. So like everything kind of like starts like falling apart.
Yup.
His vocal delivery is really cool. He sounds like fucking deranged on this track.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of a cool effect. It's a really awesome song. I don't know if it's like my favorite per se, but it's still like more than solid. It's really good. The guitar riff is really good, and I love how explosive the snare sounds on this track in particular.
This is the second of 3 songs on this album that are like all-time favorites by Deftones. I think this was one of the first songs written for the album. And the only context clues I have is in I think that was late 98, or were they on 99? I forget. But they played this song live before they really started working on White Pony. Same thing with Pink Maggot. They would play snippets of that too live, which is interesting because they've never actually fully played that song live.
Interesting.
But Korea was a song that they would play in around the Fur tuning, and I think it was more just like a new song that they wrote and they just wanted to test it out, stuff like that. That's the only context clues I have. But with that said, it is a visceral just attack. Every fucking point of this song. It is like every single thing about this song is it scratches an itch. When we get to the bridge, it's the best screaming he does on the full album. It is like, it gives me chills thinking about it. And then he gets to the final chorus and he's just still fucking screaming at you. And it's like, wow. Oh, he's angry, bro. Every single person shines on it. I think every piece of the band is at its highest potential here. It's full 100% throttle, and it's fucking great. I love this song.
Word. Another song that I do love is this next one though. Passenger.
Yeah.
Fucking rules.
Passenger's great, which is
Yeah.
fine. Like, this is the song that's stuck with me the most since listening to this. This is the one that I've gone back to, which is funny because, one, I don't actually like Tool that much. I like individual Tool songs, but trying to listen to a lot of Tool, I just sort of get bored. Like, I feel like this is a very Matt take. Like, if the song is going on for too long and not changing all that much, like, and I feel like especially how I was introduced to Tool was like, oh, this is prog, and the stuff I liked in prog was like,
Genesis.
yeah, like
not
genuinely.
drop D bullshitting around in different time
I
signatures.
see what you're saying. Yeah.
Genuinely, like, yeah, the stuff that I liked in prog was them being weird and sort of out there, and it, obviously that exists with Tool, but it's very different how that comes across in the music itself. But the vocals are great,
Yeah.
and I think I don't want this to sound like I'm saying Chino isn't a good vocalist, but this is one of the songs that I think like overcomes the issue I have with a lot of Deftones stuff, which is feeling like it's not hitting or not connecting with me. I think having Maynard, right?
Yeah.
On the vocals for the chorus, like that just hits in a way that I feel like Chino's vocals don't, because I feel like he's either screaming or like doing that sort of
The wispy,
whisper voice.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, am I wrong with this? I don't feel like there's much of a middle ground.
So the funny thing is,
I'm thinking, well, the post-chorus of like My Own Summer.
Well, even just outside of Deftones, like Deftones, he has a specific vocal style, but there's songs where he features on it, and I didn't even know he was the one singing because it sounds so much more just straight singing.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
there's one song in particular I'll have to show you guys, but like I didn't even know it was Chino until I like went back years later, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize that was him. So it is cool. He's a very like he's one of the vocalists where like you listen to Deftones and you don't think he's a very trained vocalist, but then you listen to him outside and you're like, oh no, he's doing everything on purpose. Like he knows how to control his voice. He's a very impressive singer.
Yeah, that collab he did with Pavarotti was crazy. But yeah, back to Passenger. I really thought
the four tenors, right?
I really thought the outro was cool. Yeah, it was part of that.
Passenger is arguably my favorite track on the album. I think it's fantastic. As a Tool fan, I really enjoy it. The riff is fucking diabolical. I love the trip hop drum beat. When the bass comes in, it really grounds everything. You know, it's time to lock in. Maynard and Chino like really complement each other super well, going back and forth, and they blend like brilliantly when they sing together. And I think that the choruses are just phenomenal. Just letting like Maynard just let loose. It sounds like this could be on Lateralis, which I really love a lot. The slowdown on the second verse with these super dissonant key strikes and deep bass licks are like so haunting but like seductive. The breakdown's really simple, but it rips really hard. And I love like the fills leading into the outro before everything gets like really hazy. This track is just like amazing front to back.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. Maynard like makes this track, honestly. It pushes, I feel like it like kind of pushes like the whole idea of this track to the extreme. And that, like you mentioned, the guitar riff, probably like, if not the most nasty on this album, like one of the most nasty for sure. Combined with the drums that like paint this urgency, but like also in some weird parts of the song, more like spaciousness. I don't know if that's just how they were mixed or it's just because they kind of like, they're not like slow, but they definitely kind of have like, it feels like they have a lot of space between them. I almost love like, not almost love, I do love how almost trance-like Maynard like makes the track sound with his vocals. Like it feels like you're almost being like hypnotized in a weird way, which is like
Tool.
Yeah, I was just about to say, is what makes Tool great.
Look at this Fibonacci sequence.
Look at it.
Try counting it.
Don't look away.
Try counting it now.
You think there's a 4 in there? There's not.
This is turning into fucking like Andrew Fletcher from fucking like Whiplash.
Yeah,
Don't slow down. Like, what are you in a fucking acapella group? No, I love like I think like the chorus and then like that one section where there's like a meter change is like what makes the track really stand out above the rest. It's very slight, but it works so well. Abe's drumming on here is phenomenal. So heavy. When they say that they want someone to take them to the end, they fucking mean it with the way that they're like singing it. The delivery, honestly, peak. The middle section where the guitar absolutely like screams is so like, it makes me feel so like frightful and I love it. And like, even though the bridge is considerably calmer than the rest, you still feel this weird like hypnotic dread thanks to Maynard's vocals. Definitely, if not like my favorite track on the album, like one of my favorite tracks for sure. It is a gem to listen to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say too much. You guys kind of hit every point. The only thing I'll say is it took a really long time for me to really get this song. But when I got there, man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. And you guys hit every point. I literally had almost everything verbatim. to
Hell
what
yeah.
everyone said. So there's not much more I can add.
Word. And let's move on to the big kahuna of this album. We got Change in the House of Flies.
I thought it was House of Leaves.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, fuck. Sorry, this is a book club podcast. Shit.
I'll be honest, I don't have much to say about this song, only because if you know Deftones, you know this song. It is one of the, if not the most popular
Yeah.
Deftones song.
I see why.
Yeah, it's undeniably a fantastic song. I used to think it was overrated. I've come around to think that it's properly rated. It's a really good song, and for the time,
Yeah.
I mean, it fit everywhere and checked every box that you would look for in this alternative metal rock genre. And today people are finding this song and still having the same reaction to it. So it's a great song. There's a reason why it's a great song, and people fucking love it and still find it. So that's all I have
Kids,
to
you
say.
sick of Fred Durst?
Here's some real music.
You know the new sound you've been looking for?
So yeah, that's all I'll say about that.
I did love this track quite a lot too. I can see why it's like their biggest one for a reason. Like I love how it starts out just like super haunting with like this wispy delivery and like these sound effects in the background. The chorus comes in super hard with these super dope shredding guitars and the powerful layered vocals. I really love the imagery and the metaphors on this track too. Just like the illusions of like dissecting a bug, like comparing it to like how like people like change, but like not for the better, like change in like a superficial kind of way, I guess. It's a really cool kind of like a exploration of that theme. The bass goes hard as fuck on these post choruses, sounding like super grungy, and I love just how heavy the drums sound as they just crash the fuck out. This is just a really great penultimate track.
Yeah, I feel like the bridge really makes this for me.
Yep.
Because there is that part of me that this being, I feel like their signature song, the only other one that I feel like is a contender is the first track off of Around the Fur.
Yeah. Or Be Quiet and Drive.
Yeah.
Those are the
the
three
big
songs
three.
that I put
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
But with this one, I feel like it almost falls into that Deftones sound that I don't click with. And from what I've heard of their later stuff, that's really what I hear. Like, just something about the song structure, I'm like, this is not like... Something about this isn't clicking with me. It's not staying in my head. The bridge on this is what really sells it for me. That, I think, overcomes the fact that, like, on the choruses, it almost sounds like he's not going far enough. And then on the not on the chorus, on the bridge, it's like, what's the word?
He arrives.
I guess,
He
but
ascends.
He peaks.
it's almost like some sort of, well, kind of like, you're making a joke of it, but like,
But it's true. Yeah.
but yeah, like he's not saying any words. It's very emotive. It's like a sort of catharsis for him. And I think that's what really sells the song. And it's what I think of when I think of the song, aside from the opening, which is just great. I mean, that's a great way to set up a song.
Please,
your
I would love
thoughts?
to hear your guys' thoughts on the song.
Matt in the House
Sorry.
of Flies.
Matt, House of Flies.
It's my favorite Harry Potter book.
Ron's been splinched.
No, truth be told, truth be told, I was trying to look through my notes to find something you guys didn't touch on, but definitely goes up there for one of my favorite bass lines in the entire album. I love how, like, with his whispery delivery on here, the way it's mixed, it sounds like blowing wind, which is really cool.
Yeah.
The guitar fuzz in this track is also to die for. I also very much like the imagery that you were saying, AJ, about like changing, but like not exactly in a good way. And the last thing I'll say really is just the chorus is probably something I'll scream with my entire chest for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
the fucking "I watch you change"
Yeah.
line, like that shit goes so hard. A really good penultimate track, honestly.
But with that, let's close out our ride on the White Pony with Pink Maggot,
Fantastic.
the real Back in School.
So good.
Yeah, and well, I think that's why I still have, I guess, like beef with Back to School is that I feel like in my mind that existing and me knowing that kind of makes the last song, I'm not going to say worse because I like this track. And funny enough, this also reminds me of Dark Side of the Moon with the Heartbeat.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think this is a great way to end the album, but having those lyrics be appropriated for the first track kind of makes it sound silly, not because of this song, but because of the other one. But I like, as a closer, like the slow build up for this track.
Yeah.
It's a real statement. It doesn't surprise me they've never performed this in full live, not because it's particularly long, but like putting this in a set list is kind of weird unless you're closing with it. Unless you just do the like heavier bit or like bits of it.
I don't know. It's one of those things where there's probably more of a reason why they don't play it. I mean, one, it's not popular considering what songs they have in their catalog that are very popular. And like if you look at their set list now, they're basically just playing all the hits and then the new stuff from the album. So I don't, unless we got like a 25th anniversary, like, well, at this point we wouldn't. It would have been the 25th anniversary last year. But if they had done like a touring cycle where they played the album front to back, I don't foresee a future where they do play this song. The day they do, I will cry. I can confidently say this is my favorite Deftones song of all time.
Wow.
I understand why.
This is like the song where I can put this on repeat and not get tired of it.
Nice.
It's just one of those songs where you kind of just have to lay down and stare at the sky and listen to it and just let go of everything else.
Well, I was driving while listeing to this, so I'm not sure that would have been a good idea.
To be fair, you can do that too.
Just a bit of a risk. Then it'll be a streetcar, Bevan.
There you go. I did look up.
That's what it means.
Oh God! I did have to look up the meaning of the lyrics because I had one interpretation of them, and then I went to go see what Chino said about them, and he said they're actually supposed to be very triumphant.
Yeah.
I didn't get that entirely. Like, I get it in the sense that this, I don't know if triumphant was the right word I was thinking of. This feels like a look in the rear view.
Yeah.
And as like this is kind of where like that theme of being a teenager almost comes at a 2020 vision thing where it's like, you can do what you want. Like, I took this as the kind of song of like, I don't care what you do, but you control your life. That's kind of the vibe I got from it, where a lot of these songs where he reflects on how being a teenager, the feelings that come with it, a lot of them are a point of view where you're not in control of these feelings, where you don't know how to control them. And this song is the perfect song of, it doesn't matter what you do because you do control what you do, which is why the lyrics coming back from like Back to School, for example, which is such a middle school way of the lyrics, them coming back feel a lot more mature of like,
It's like an arc. Almost.
Like instead of being like, yeah, we're the leaders of school, it's like, yeah, in your mind, you are the leader. That's how you want to be because you control how you live your life. And it's a cool little retrospective song.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't feel triumphant. It does feel a little like, I don't give a fuck what you do. You're in control, you know? And I don't know. I think it's the perfect ending to an album. And it's everything I wanted for the end of this album. So absolutely adore this song. 10 out of 10 song.
Hell yeah, man.
I'm gonna pull a Marco here just to say something. So Magical Mystery Tour. No, like I've told people that that's not one of my favorite Beatles albums, and they're like, "Why?" And it's like, I know the history. I know how these songs were recorded. I know that the whole B-side is just singles, and there's a part of me that can hear, especially how they recorded at the time. Like how different and how these tracks were not supposed to go together because of how intentionally the rest of their stuff was going together. I like a lot of the tracks, but as an album, I don't like that because I know that it's a compilation at the end of the day. That's how I feel here. The real life circumstance behind Back to School, like there's just no way I can be like, yeah, it's cool. Like there's just something about it. I'm like, this shouldn't be here.
Sure.
They didn't want it to be here.
True.
And like, it's cool that you can hear it as like a full circle thing, but to me it's like, oh yeah, because this came from this, and they went, well, what do we do to get a Limp Bizkit song? Kids, school, this'll work, and then they hopped in the studio. Like, yeah, that's kind of my thought on that.
I mean, I think I kind of see where the triumph kind of comes from the song, because I was kind of like looking at like Genius, like when I took my notes, because that's usually what I do. And kind of like looking at Chino's like message where it's kind of like a call to action for like people who like get bullied in school. It's kind of like, instead of just taking it, just like you control your own destiny, kind of like just kind of take that like with your held high, like this doesn't matter, just kind of like just be yourself.
Okay.
So that's kind of like what I kind of thought of, and I feel like the tribe like really kind of comes in like when it gets like heavier, and it just kind of keeps building, which is why I think the song actually makes Back to School better.
Yes,
because it takes that track and it just kind of puts in like a different kind of lens and like evolves it in a way that's like really like powerful. I love the use of guitar effects on here. Like it sounds like very Pink Floyd-esque, which I like a lot. I think the intro is also like really cool too, and like the metaphors they use to kind of really go throughout this theme is very neat, and like it's such a powerful build up too to when it gets to like the actual like main portion of the song. It almost kind of sounds like Chino's channeling Tom York a bit on the choruses.
for sure.
Someone in the YouTube comments, I'm pretty sure, said that exact same thing. So you're definitely on like a similar wavelength of like genius.
Thanks, man. Genius.
Genius.
I'm a genius, so I can tell you that the lyrics on Violent Femmes.
Hey, full circle, guys.
A genius and a Mensa member.
Matt, what did you think of Pink Maggot?
I really enjoyed this track a lot. I didn't know, just to kind of like be blunt about it, I had no idea about the history of like the first track. And how this track, I guess, kind of like it directly impacted the first track being made. So to me, I very much had like a similar experience as you, where it kind of felt like, the first track was like, I don't know, maybe not as fully like with as much gravitas as like this. Mm-hmm. But it definitely made me like the first track even more. Because I think in the way it kind of does help like bookend the album really well. When I first heard this, it was like, the only way I could describe it was like this beautiful like dread running through my body. Like it was so cool. The guitars sound like so distorted, and like in the slow down part, like they're so like almost like burning in a weird way as it's like slow. It makes you feel like you're watching like the end of a movie of some kind, but like the ending isn't necessarily like good, you know what I mean? But then again, there also is this weird like sickening triumph, is what I wrote here, in a strange way that I couldn't quite articulate, but I think you articulated it a lot better than me.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. Especially with the way he encourages like this change within somebody, like, because you can hear it like when he screams transpose with such vigor. Like it's so cool, honestly. And like the way that the end of the song kind of has this like distorted instrumental that like leads to the heartbeat section, something about that just really struck such like a deep resonating chord with me. And I agree with you, Ben. I think they ended the album perfectly here.
Yeah. And sorry, the last thing is just ending lyrically with just all you are is me.
Yeah.
To kind of put it in perspective of like,
we're the same.
Yeah, we're not different.
We're not so different.
You and I.
You and I, kid. We're not so different. But it is cool because this whole album in general is a very much like, almost like a second person point of view, where it's very much you. I'm talking about you. He does mention me in some songs, like the second song on the album, or even Change, but he's not saying I'm this way. He's saying, I watched you.
Change,
You did that.
I watched you.
Like, it really is a second, third person driven album. And then that line is the first time really where it feels like it's me. And it's like, oh.
Holy shit, Chino's in the studio. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, it really, I remember like listening to that and just hearing that last line and it being a gut punch of like, oh man.
Yeah.
Like that's how you fucking end a record, man.
Well, like how they end the record, let's end this episode the same way.
Let's do it.
I guess
Evan, do you want to go first?
I was wondering why I hadn't listened to this in full since I listened to it for that episode years ago. I think a lot of it is great, and I can see why people really latch onto it, but there is something about it that it just doesn't click with me. It's really that. I mean, there's a lot that I could speculate on as to why, but if I'm in the mood for something like this, I'd go to other albums. Even just talking about Loathe, I think that the Loathe album that we were talking about on our
Season
third-
2.
Yeah.
Shout out.
I think that is probably more to my taste, at least on the shoegazy parts and the lyrics. Just for some sort of comparison, I guess if I was going to give it a score, and I know I'm going to be the lowest of the four of us.
Yeah.
I'd probably do C plus 6.8. And not to say that it's like some sort of like, yeah.
D for Deftones.
Yeah.
D for Deftones.
C for Chino.
C for Chino.
Yeah, not because I'm like, this is mid, because that's not really it. But to me, it is. To me,
Sure.
it's just an album I can appreciate in a lot of parts. I can really like in a lot of parts. But it's just not quite for me.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You know what? I think that's why I like this podcast, because you can have your opinions. Even though they're wrong, you can still have them.
Exactly. We have a whole show about it.
Wait a second.
It's not a family meeting, right?
Although I wouldn't say this is my favorite Deftones album, it's not far off. And every time the thing with this album is I don't visit it as much as I visit the other ones at this point, because this was one of the first ones I really latched onto. And now I'm at a point where I'm more invested in the other albums because I don't know them as well. And I like hearing them more, especially the album after this, which was considered a commercial failure. I adore it, but that's a different conversation. Coming back to it is always a treat because it reminds me of why I love this album. I think lyrically, it focuses a lot on being young and not realizing the full world ahead of you. Yet there's a lot of lyrical composition about sex and violence that surprisingly does go hand in hand of realizing the world ahead of you. That isn't fully there yet in a young person's perspective. This album comes with some of the most iconic songs in alternative metal to date, and people are still finding it, which is so exciting to me. This is an A tier for sure. Simple 9 out of 10. Absolutely adore it.
All right. I used to go back and forth and like what like my favorite Deftones album was. Like at one point it was Koi no Yokon. Then I really got into Around the Fur recently, and then listening back after, because this was the first Deftones album let's do like in full. Coming back to, I'm like, nah, this is still like my favorite. This shit's just great front to back. I love the drum work. I love the different kind of musical influences that they combine with the heaviness and the alternative metal. It works out super well, even though the lyrical content kind of like ranges in different like kind of qualities. I think like what you said, Ben, it does kind of tie together the whole theme and just kind of this view of like a not fully formed mind before kind of making that full circle at the very end with Pink Maggot. There's so much cool like imagery and like lyrical metaphors that I really like deepen my appreciation for the album, just like kind of resonating like with the lyrics this time around. And I just think there's a lot of really great songwriting from front to back, a lot of great guitar and bass work. The Manor feature fucking rips on Passenger, a lot of great songs as well. So I think a solid A+ for White Pony. Like it a lot.
Yeah.
This album surprised me in like how almost anthemic a lot of these like songs are. Like I could vividly picture like the crowd with like a lot of these songs just going absolutely apeshit, just like listening to these if they were to be played live. I genuinely think this might be the first like metal-ish album that I kind of connect with, at least in like the solidarity aspect, with like some of the lyrics, because like you said, it kind of ranges.
Yeah.
But honestly though, like someone had written in a comment saying that White Pony is the pet that every household should own. And like low key, I kind of agree with them. It's just a really well-rounded, I feel like, album listening experience. Hiccups and all, I feel like, with the intro, which again, I didn't really know until we started recording that was the story behind it. Probably, I mean, I'm very green when it comes to metal and my experience with metal. This is definitely going to be taking the top spot for now for like my favorite metal album that I've listened to.
Hell yeah, man.
So I really enjoyed this experience a lot. It was kind of funny because when I listened to this album for the first time, I was like in a car ride with my family, like my mom.
Nice.
My,
That's the perfect place to be for this album.
my dad was driving. My mom was in the passenger seat.
Your mom was the passenger that they were talking about. That's crazy.
Crazy shit.
That's what he meant.
I bet your Lawrence
Peter knows your mom.
Oh!
I bet your Lawrence Welk loving dad really, really, really liked this album. I can just picture the bubbles falling as the old couples are dancing to these.
Now that you need her.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
That's for all you Lawrence Welk fans.
I don't know how my dad would fathom this album. This is so not.
I don't think you can process that.
But it very much was my speed. Like I was kind of amazed. I don't really know what people were saying. Like I can't really think back on the conversation about what people were saying about like the sound of this album. But honestly, to me, especially as a first-time listener, this sounds timeless in a way. I don't really know how to elaborate more on that, but like I didn't really feel like it like felt aged or anything like that.
Definitely not.
Like it just was really well constructed, at least sonically, I could say. Honestly, like if we're comparing the first two tracks, especially with my lack of knowledge of like why the intro is the way it is, just that one moment when he like switched up the lyrics a little bit between like the chorus of Back to School and Pink Maggot. I remember just being like, my mind was kind of blown in that moment. I was like, this is fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. This is a really cool listening experience. God, I don't know. I'm thinking A probably is where it's going to be. I could see this definitely going to A+. Number wise, probably like 9.5. I really enjoyed this.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I think with that'll do it for this week's episode of the Family Album.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Well, Ben and Evan, thank you so much for joining us as always.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Tom, what did you think of the recording?
Mid-leaning ass.
Sounds about right.
This guy sucks. How do you bring him in?
It's not a Tom Hates albums. Those are good. You know
That's
Sure.
That's my
Debatable.
Taco Bell buddy you're talking about. I'm not going to stand for that.
My Tomco Bell.
I'm gonna shit my pants soon because of it.
Thank God he deserves it.
Well, check out Album Tonight if you're curious. See what Ben and Evan did before they hopped on this podcast, and see what they're doing now. Ben, you got anything you want to plug?
Yeah, my band Obsolescence has a brand new album coming out this Friday, March 6th. It's called Last Chance for First Impressions. Actually, fun fact, we just wrote White Pony. We didn't even fucking sugarcoat it. We stole it. Every song.
You heard of Milli Vanilli? Like that.
Why hasn't anyone tried this before?
Yeah, I don't know why, but we just basically just ripped them off, and we're going to make a lot of money off of this. But no, I'm very excited for this album. If you would like to check it out, if you're fans of bands like Knocked Loose, Slipknot, The Acacia Strain, Norma Jean, check it out.
Evan, do you have anything you want to plug?
Geese.
Yeah, check out Geese. They're a really cool band too.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see him live.
But yeah, check out Obsolescence. Check out Geese, I guess, and check out the Family Album. We'll be back next week for another episode of Tom Hates Albums, our last one for the season.
Thank God.
That's where you get all the real genius takes.
Whatever helps you sleep at night, Tom. But as always, I'm your Jose Tenari.
I'm Matt Glass.
I'm Ben Mascioli.
And I'm Evan Vandenbrul.
And I'm Tom Murphy.
We'll see you next week. Thank you so much for your constant love and support. And yeah.
Peace.
Oh, it's my I didn't have something planned.
So if you just make a funny noise,
I
that
don't
typically
do that.
works.
No,
You
that's
could-
not my thing.
I could show you. If you just cupped it like
I was kind of hoping that.
There you go. You got him, Ben.
I can do like the Miss Piggy when she karate chops someone.
All right, bye.
Bye.